Okay, welcome back to our Will Roundup. We are going to just essentially go down all the paths we can find, get all the endings that we can still need to get, and try and 100%. We're going to do a big profile roundup afterwards. We've already finished their profiles. You can see by the achievement list, but I'm going to try and cut to the chase here. We're just going to go right down the line. This is after Li Wen charges in. After Li Wen charges in to hide from what she thinks is a stalker, and inadvertently interrupts Mr. Wen's suicide attempt. We had 2 more endings to get in here. We're going to cut right to the chase. Okay, here's something. Night breeze was coming in through the window. I tried to take a deep breath, but I couldn't. Perhaps I had spent too much time picking up those things earlier. Had I been poisoned? I held the flashlight in my hand and walked toward the doorway. Found a girl lying on the floor, unconscious. Had she been poisoned, too? I suddenly remembered a news story about people who had killed their neighbors by accident while attempting suicide by burning coals. I wanted to go back and call an ambulance, but I could not breathe anymore. I could at least open the door. I tried to reach for the handle, but it seemed to be getting farther away. Bad. And just like that, here we go. Held up my flashlight, made sure everything had been picked up, and then walked toward the doorway. Click. Someone had just shut the door. I hurried up. However, there was nothing except a broken, worthless ceramic pot on the floor. She snuck out. I opened the door and looked outside into the hallway. There was no one there, either. I went back in, saw the remaining coals, and the smoke that was still lingering in the room. We could still continue with the plan. I lit the coals again and closed the window. Oh no. I climbed back into my bed. I felt my consciousness leaving me as I started to enter another world. And everything is locked off. I can jump right back to this. We're good for a while on Mr. Wen. Yeah, that S... Yeah, that we don't want S here. We want A to get his ending, but we still have 2 more bads to get here. Let's just jump right in here. So, pushed, want to be with you. So we'll try this. Okay, this should be sad. I pushed her. I want to be with you. She began crying and ran toward the door. She just ran into the evening rain. By the time I realized it, I could not see her anymore. Her words had broken my last sensible defenses earlier, and I had done something unforgivable. She had been looking at me, terrified. I held my flashlight and began aimlessly searching for her in the rain. I almost slipped a dozen times. When I realized that she might have slipped and fallen down, I hated myself even more. Why? Why on earth would I do something like that? Did he push her away when she said that? Before I knew it, it was daylight. I hope that's the implication that they're going for. The rain had finally stopped, and the sun had come out. The first ray of sunlight broke through the clouds and sprinkled upon her body, lying in the valley. She was so calm, so beautiful, and so still. She was not even breathing. I held her cold body in my arms. I felt like I had lost the whole world, again. Okay, let's give this another shot. Okay, I pushed her and ran toward the door. She began crying. I want to be with you. I ran into the evening rain, and I could not bear to look back. Earlier, after hesitating for what felt like forever, I had told her the cruelest thing. I'm sorry. I can't be with you. I remembered her expression when I had pushed her to the ground. She must have thought that I had been disgusted by her. But how could I ever feel that about her? The only person that had been disgusting was me. I was so scared. I had no idea what I would mean to her if I crossed that line. Her lover? Her father? Just a pathetic, dying cancer patient? I had walked past 2 slopes, and found myself arriving at the spot where I had spread the ashes of my fiancée. I hadn't even realized it. I'd been going this way. We had seen the most beautiful rainbow in the world here together once. Honey, I'm so sorry. Freezing rain kept falling on me. It seemed to be getting even heavier. She wouldn't be out looking for me, would she? A thought suddenly entered my mind. Rain was so heavy and the mountain cold could be dangerous in this weather. If she came out by herself and something had happened to her, I couldn't stop feeling worried and began to regret running out of the cabin. I must go back immediately. The gods decided to toy with me one last time. When I turned around, I stepped into a puddle of mud and slipped. I lost balance and I rolled down the hill into a completely dark abyss. Welp. Let's jump back here and finish off his route. There's only one more ending to get in here. So, these are really all the equivalents of a day had gone by. Darkness had swallowed me. Thought I heard somebody yelling. Day had gone by, darkness had swallowed me. So, thought I heard somebody yelling something. Okay. Alright, we'll pause. And of course, as soon as I pause, I get it. Darkness swallowed me. I had anything to drink. Somebody there, please respond. This voice. I would never forget this voice, ever. Must have started hallucinating. My mind went back to my teaching days 3 years ago. The girl that I had chosen to be my assistant just because I had wanted to go home early. She was yelling my name. She was angry at me that I had torn up her friend's sketch. She did not know that we had already met the night before. If a person could still live in his own memory after death, I wished I could return to that moment and freeze time. Then I would look at her, do nothing but just look at her until the end of time. A small pebble fell down on my head. I opened my eyes. Light coming through the crack had blinded me, and as I hadn't seen light for so long. The crack was becoming bigger and bigger until my face was completely exposed in the sunlight. I could see the person who was the closest to me, but only their silhouette. Still, it looked incredibly like her. How could it be possible? The silhouette stopped moving. It seemed to be hesitating. How? You. Can you hear me? Can you move your hand? It even sounded like her. Even though I knew it couldn't possibly be her, I still teared up, unable to control myself. I struggled to raise my left hand. She reached out with her hand. Don't let go. Hold on. Now keep your eyes on me. Hold on. Keep your eyes on me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so scared. Don't be scared. I would never leave you alone, ever. Don't be scared. I would never leave you alone, ever. I held onto her hand as tightly as I could, with all the strength I had left. Even if it was just an illusion, I'd never let her go again. I'm sorry. I've broken my word. last 3 years I had thought about what I would say to her if I ever got to meet her again. So many times in my head. I had practiced all of the various scenarios I could think of. Yet in the end, all I was able to mutter was a mere sorry. She didn't respond, but I could feel her shaking. Took a deep breath. Could you give me another chance to love you? After 3 days without water, my body was severely dehydrated. I had smashed my paralyzed right hand and drunk my own blood in order to survive. Fortunately, I had been found by the rescue team just in time. However, my right hand had been severely damaged and had to be amputated. However, I didn't feel too bad about losing my right hand, because she had come back into my life. She was the sun of my life. She had brought me so much hope. I felt like there was nothing I couldn't overcome as long as I could see her next to me every day. Bless you, God. Well, that's an ending. Let's just go back to that and casually move on. Jump right into Li Wen, which seems like we have a lot of ground to cover. Yes, we do. Oh boy. This is gonna be fun. This is the tennis letter. Alright, let's see what we can do. We have 3 endings. I assume there's an A ending. Everything else is bad. Because we have SA. We have 3 new endings to get per person here. And here's one apiece. Give everything to Jimmy. Jimmy took a swing at the ball. The ball flew out of the baseline. Out. Sigh. 7-9. We lost. I lost. Hug. My precious 30 boxes of chocolate milk. I swung my racket with my eyes closed. Good job, Jimmy. The ball flew over the baseline. It was out. Sigh. I did overestimate myself. Match was over. Ugh. She must be mad at me now. Yes, she is. Nice try, Jimmy. Okay. Wonder if there's more endings for rearranging. No, because there's 3 and 3. Okay, 2 for 2. Ball hit the net and dropped on our side. Shoot, I wish I had hit it harder. 7-9. We lost. I lost. Ah, my precious 30 boxes of chocolate milk. She hit the ball, but it didn't go over the net. Match was over. We lost. She had done her best. It was all my fault for sucking so much. Nice try. This took longer than I care to admit to get. Took a swing at the ball, but I tripped. Although I took another step, my ankle was hurting too much to steady myself. I fell on the ground, lost my balance because of this twisted ankle. Let me hit the ball too. The ball grazed Jimmy's right ear and hit Wang King's nose straight on. Ouch, that must have hurt. Game ended with the opponent's forfeit. Oh. Rocky said that since the match had not been properly concluded, this bet should be called off. That sneaky bastard. Behind me, I heard her hitting the ball. Good job! I felt the ball graze past my right ear. Oh! And it flew straight at the guy across the net. It hit him right on the nose. That was close. If I had stepped a little too much to my right, they forfeited the match. I let out a relaxed sigh. Finally, I didn't have to embarrass myself anymore. There's still a little time before the end of class. By the time I had finally made up my mind to go and talk to her, she had already left. Good job, Jimmy. Good job. Okay, it doesn't actually log us out of anything. So I guess we will leave it as it is. Because objectively, they did a high five, even though nothing came of it for Jimmy, because Jimmy is a moron. Okay. Strange teacher. This was our first meeting with all the newcomers, Rocky and Mr. Wen. Hands of new teacher. Alright, let's figure this out. We have one ending to get. Okay, here we go. I stood up from my seat, Rocky stood up from his seat, and then the bell rang. Jing was sobbing, and I was completely in shock, too. Not only did Mr. Wen tear up her sketch, he even said to her, "Are you serious? Did you seriously just draw something like that? I'll not tolerate this kind of thing in my class." Seeing Jing crying like that, I couldn't control my anger. "Mr. Wen, you're way out of line. You need to apologize to Jing." Mr. Wen gave me a glance and picked up my sketch. Rocky stood up from his seat. "Hey, didn't you hear her? You need to apologize. Good man, Rocky." Mr. Wen didn't pay him any attention, so Rocky jumped in front of him and punched Mr. Wen right in his face. Holy shit. Mr. Wen, however, didn't react, despite just being hit by a student. Simply gave Rocky a glance, put down my sketch, and walked out of the room without saying a word. Rocky was always so self-righteous. The only thing more important in his life might be his ball games. I bet if the bell had rung and the class went over, he wouldn't have been bothered and would have gone off to play basketball. Since then, Mr. Wen never came back to the class. Maybe somebody filed a complaint about him, or maybe... I always had a feeling that he didn't look like he had wanted to be a teacher. The next art teacher always dressed impeccably well. He was also incredibly dull. And we also didn't end up romantically involved. So alas, we have to become Mr. Wen's assistant. Okay. Time for link letters with Jimmy. Miss Yang and Mr. Wen. Mr. Wen getting mugged. And Jimmy training tennis. Alright. This was our first introduction to the automatically swappable ones, right? We have 2 endings to get. Yeah, we got S in the first shot, I believe. Easy enough. Ball hit the forehead of the tank top guy exactly as I wanted. But it bounced off and fell softly to the ground. The guy tumbled and fell to the ground. Before the second man realized what had happened, I sprinted toward his back as fast as I could. I smashed his head with my racket with all my strength. Then I grabbed Mr. Wen's hand and ran toward the end of the alley. I didn't see that the first guy had already stood back up. It felt like Mr. Wen had let go of my hand and thrown his entire body onto my back. Then I felt him slowly collapsing to the ground. Uh-oh. I turned around and Mr. Wen was lying on the ground unconscious. There was a pool of blood and was getting larger and larger. Mr. Wen had to be hospitalized afterwards. Since he couldn't teach for a long time, he lost his job as well. Sad. I shuddered a little, before I realized that the ball was already right in front of me. I was so startled that I had to awkwardly block the ball with the racket. I happened to hit the ball. The ball was too quick, and it bounced off high up in the air. It was a perfect parabola. And then it hit an old man who was practicing nearby. I ran over to me angrily and started yelling. I kept bowing and apologizing. I was nodding like a pecking hen. People in the real world are so scary. Poor Jimmy. Just perished, Jimmy. That is okay. Okay, so really... Oh, okay. Yeah, this one didn't seem that complicated. The ball was blown off its path by the wind and fell softly to the ground. Mr. Wen noticed me. So did the 2 robbers. The tank top guy took one step toward me. I began to picture how they would force me into the corner, pull a chainsaw out from behind them, and cut me to pieces. Oh no, I couldn't stay there any longer. Mr. Wen, you can fight them! I screamed silently in my head as he ran away with my hands covering my face, leaving Mr. Wen there by himself. Next day, Mr. Wen came back to school. He didn't seem hurt either. Although I couldn't imagine how he had gotten away, I was really happy that everything was okay. However, I didn't have the courage to go back to the art class anymore. It's fair. Before I realized that the ball had hit me right in the forehead. So fast that it would be sure to cause serious damage if it hit someone. It would be worse if it hit someone in the head. In any case, I don't remember anything afterwards. Told me that someone else practicing at the court had called an ambulance for me. There are good people in the world, I suppose. Or must be because I had been such a great person every day. That must be what they call good karma. Okay, Jimmy. We didn't go back to the art class. The rest of that is locked. Alright, what's next? The longest class. Who is this linked with? Carlos! We have 2 endings to get. Carlos has 2 endings to get. We might actually, by just going chronologically, we might just make my other character runs a whole lot shorter just by... Oh, right, the sketch. With just the 2 of them. And the sketch that would become Mr. Wen's most prized possession. And then Carlos's... Yeah. Oh, okay. Jing was way too careless when she bought this dress. The stitches were already coming apart. No wonder it was on sale. Maybe I could still let my hair down and cover them up so it wouldn't be too obvious. This one showed no reaction to my new outfit. So we began our sketching practice. Drawing a portrait was so hard. My hair was still wet after tennis and was sticking to my back. It was really itchy and distracting. By the time the bell rang, I had barely drawn a rough draft. Mr. Wen put away his sketch, yet he didn't ask to see mine either. He was about to leave the classroom before stopping at the door. He looked at me and opened his mouth. He looked like he was going to say something, but he didn't. Eventually, he left with a look of disappointment on his face. Well, this is an accidental Carlos ending. The dress was really tight. I looked down at the dress that was wrapped tightly around myself. I could still feel the warmth from Yee's body, and I smelled a faint trace of her scent. I never worn a girl's clothes except for my sister's. I felt my face starting to flush. I sat down facing the door and lowered my head. I heard footsteps getting closer and closer to the door. I swallowed nervously. I saw the guard's shocked expression through the small window on the door. I heard him scream. Then I heard the alarms. How do you know? Was it because my chest was too flat? Yee had not been able to leave the building yet, and she was soon brought back. And I was thrown out onto the street, still wearing the dress. Damn it, I couldn't just do nothing and let Yee be sent to a living hell. Lord, please guide me. Oh wow, that's S. Okay. Well, here's the other Carlos ending. I'm not working on Carlos's path yet, but... wear a dress. I couldn't. It was too embarrassing. I decided to just face my fate head-on, like a real man. I sat down in nothing but my boxer shorts and faced the door straight on. I heard footsteps getting closer and closer to the door. When our eyes met through the small window of the door, he raised his thumb. The alarms went off in the auction house. All the gates were closed immediately. He had not been able to leave the building yet, and she was soon brought back. I shouldn't have let Yee be caught just because I was too embarrassed to wear a dress. What kind of man was I? Lord, please let me help her escape. Well, that was a thing. Okay, here we go. Finally. Jing was way too careless when she bought this dress. The stitches were already coming apart. No wonder it was on sale. But as long as I sat with my back toward the door, Mr. Wen wouldn't be able to see them. Halfway through the class, Miss Yang barged in and dragged me out of the classroom. Many boys had been gathering in the hallway near the back door of the classroom. Some of them whistled when they saw me. Oh boy. Immediately realized what had gone wrong. How embarrassing. Whoops! Whoopsie indeed. Okay. 1, 2, 3 Li Wen letters to go, and then we're done with her route. So, life is like a box of chocolate milk. Ah, the dreaded BBS post. Oh, the kidnapping arc. Yeah. We have one ending to go. Probably a bad ending. Let's see what happens. Here we go. This is probably going to be bad. And a hazer saw a dark and thick hand pick up and throw the empty milk box into a nearby trash can. He carried me on his shoulder and kept walking deeper into the alley. My eyes began to slowly close shut. It felt as if I couldn't open them anymore. Oh no, being taken away by a bad man, I'm screwed. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself locked inside a strange room without a window. My school uniform, shirt, and underwear were scattered on the floor. Everything was dirty and ruined, including me. Somebody, please help me. Perhaps God had heard my prayers. Oh, it wasn't the goddamn man in a tank top who walked through the door this time. It was 2 men in police uniforms instead, as well as Mr. Wen, holding my wallet in his hand. Oh. I hid under the table and crouched into a ball. I didn't want him to see me like this. Why? Why did it take you so long? Oof. Oof. Let's go back to that. The cafe across the street. This is linked with whom? Alicia. And oh wow, we have lots of Alicia entries to get. And this is where we got out of the hospital and went looking for... What happened to this bad ending? Yeah, we left the hospital and went looking for Mr. Wen. Okay, let's go. Okay, endings for both sides. I was drenched in sweat because of the nightmares. Well, now that my clothes were already wet, I decided to just go home in the rain. Walked into the heavy rain. Walked toward the subway station. At the last crossing, lights had just turned from green to red. I saw 2 people sitting next to the window in the coffee house across the street. 2 very familiar people. Miss Yang and him. I stepped forward without even realizing it. I had forgotten about the red light. The truck charged directly at me from the side. Its headlights had blinded me. My entire body was swallowed by the light. The truck didn't stop after hitting me. I lay there in the street. The rain was so heavy that everything around me seemed blurry. I could feel the warmth of my body washing away with the rain. It was getting colder and colder. It was freezing. I struggled and took the phone out of my pocket and opened the recording app. This time, no matter what, I had to tell him how I felt. Mr. Wen, I think I'm dying. It hurts really bad. I want to tell you something. The day of the exhibition was actually my birthday. I haven't celebrated my birthday for years, so thank you for the ticket. I really wish that I could go see that rainbow in the mountains with you. It must be beautiful. Bad. I probably can't make it anymore. I want to leave you. Everything I have. In my apartment. There's still many boxes of chocolate milk left. Don't let them go bad, please. I really like your sketch. I was only kidding last time. And oh no. The phone fell out of my hand. I kept recording the sound of the rainfall. Ah! That hurt. I apologized to the guest who had just come in. Showed him to a booth and poured him a cup of coffee. Then I went back to the door and started cleaning the wet floor. Then I heard a flush tone from the restroom. The guest with the hat walked out. He walked past the new guest's booth and went back to his own. He took a ninth cigarette out of his pack and put it into his mouth. Then I noticed a flame pop up near the end of the cigarette. Walked over with a carafe, leaned over and refilled his mug. Whispered into his ear, "Excuse me, but this is a non-smoking establishment." If he were a fellow hitman, he would have understood. The guest with the hat heard my words, nodded gently, and put the cigarette back into the pack. The menace that had been brewing in the air suddenly dissipated. It wasn't a regular cigarette. There were probably some elaborate mechanisms inside. I myself had never used gadgets that were too complicated. I did sometimes hear that some fellow workers in my field would often use some unusual murder weapons that I had never even heard of. It probably wasn't here for me. If he had insisted upon messing up the shop, the dagger under my skirt would have to stop him. The bearded man put down some cash on the table and left. Soon the guest with the hat gathered his cigarette pack and an old magazine, gave me a nod, and left too. I soon noticed that I was being followed for the next few days. There was more than one tail on me, and none of them was just some random slob. I couldn't tell if it had anything to do with the guest for that day. I asked Mama for some time off and decided to stay out of sight alone for a while. At the very least, I could not bring Mama into this. That seems like a better outcome for that. That's gonna lock a fuck ton of everything else, but yeah, that won't open up anything new there. Damn. Alright. Okay, let's get Lee Wen's last ending there. Okay, 2 endings. Are you going to the subway station? I nodded. Let me walk you there. I've got an umbrella. He showed me the umbrella in his hand and squeezed out an unnatural smile. We stood on the platform, silently waiting for the last train of the day. Another young couple was there, too. The headlights of the train lit up the tunnel. I was looking at the train and didn't notice what was happening behind me. Oh no. When I heard the young couple scream, the young man who had walked me here had already laid down on the rails. The train kept running as if he wasn't there. Oh, Jesus! I only heard a muffled noise, drowned out by the wind. Jesus! Holy shit! Water had spilled on my clothes. The black dragon tattoo on my stomach became vaguely visible through my wet shirt. I apologized and went and changed into another shirt in the back room. When I came back, both the bearded man and the guest with the hat had left. Oh boy. I soon noticed that I was being followed for the next few days. There was more than one tail on me. None of them was just some random slob. Couldn't be for a reason other than revenge. I asked Mama for some time off, decided to stay alone on the site for a while. At the very least, I could not bring Mama into this. Big Mama. Okay. That's this sorted. Meeting Zuko. Okay, story in the rainbow. Okay, mountain time. Mountain time. We finished the cabin without any more incidents. Just some mountain bandits. And Jimmy gets to meet Pi again. Yeah. Alright, let's try this. Let's do this. Okay, here goes. I fell down in the... Oh, Jimmy time. I fell down in the mud and the torrent of this... And the torrent of mud and soil underneath swept both of us down the cliff. The dark figure was still holding onto my wrist with their unnatural strength. Mud and soil kept splashing onto my face and into my nose. I was beginning to have trouble breathing. Suddenly, something hard struck me on the forehead and I blacked out. When I woke up, I realized I was in a hospital. I couldn't move at all. I entire body had been wrapped up like a mummy. The nurse told me that a team of road repair workers had found me. I had broken numerous bones all over my body, but none of my organs had been damaged. It was almost a miracle. A doctor in white lab coats came in as soon as the nurses left. He was wearing a mask so I couldn't see his face. He had a glistening scalpel in his hand. I see a pair of cold yet crazy eyes above the mask. Big brother, we're about to start the procedure now. No. That's okay, just perish. I somehow stuck the pen in the cracks among the rocks in the cliff. I didn't fall, but I didn't have enough strength to climb back up either. The wind and the rain kept getting stronger. I was spent, I couldn't hold on any longer, and I had to let go. I was falling, I kept falling. For what had felt like an eternity, my body finally touched the ground. I could feel something sticky coming out of my nose and my ears. It hurt so bad. So bad. Bad. Yeah, bad. Okay, here's the other ending we're looking for. My heart skipped a few beats. I felt like I'd already died. I thought I must be in a wild dream. I'd seen too many movies with a similar plot. The heroine was about to fall off a cliff. The hero was able to catch her hand at the last moment. Then she would cut his hand with something and say, "Let go of me while I drag you down too." If we were not the hero and heroine of that kind of movie. Torrent washed me off the cliff. The pen was still sticking out of Mr. Wen's hand. The last memory I left him was a pen. I was swept into the air by the gushing wind. My eyes were locked on him. He was yelling something at me, but the wind had blown the words away, and I couldn't hear a thing. I was falling. I kept falling. When it felt like an eternity, my body finally touched the ground. I could feel something sticky coming out of my nose, my ears. It hurt so bad. So bad. And bad. Let's not lock everything else out. Okay, these are all bad. Okay, that unlocks the rest of these paths. So that's these cats done. So what's next? Yeah, we'll tackle the three-way letter later. This one would be okay to tackle. To do the Carlos, Alicia, and Park together. Well, we might be able to polish off Jimmy extra quick. Because we only have 3 to go here. So, let's do VR rules! Oh, right, it's the DSP moment. The DSP moment. Okay. This is linked with Kang, yeah? Alright. Okay, endings for both. I'm not sure what we're missing on Kang side, but we'll get to that eventually. Left, right, right, left. Crap, I was gonna throw up. I couldn't hold it anymore. Oh boy. Pulled off the VR gear and tossed it onto the bed. I held my hands to my chest and tried to breathe in some fresh air before I realized there was none in our room. Rocky was already awake. He was sitting on his over on his side, munching on his chips, which were probably his breakfast. He kept staring at me. Did you know you look like an idiot right now? I vomited on his face. I walked over and vomited into his bag of chips. Nice. That's my... business. Mind your... The bag wasn't big enough for the spicy pot dinner I'd had last night. Nice. Oh boy. Oh, that's nasty. Oh my god. It was soon filled with my vomit. The rest of it spilled onto Rocky. So much shock that he did not even scream. Perhaps they were desperate to stay awake. The two guards even started watching porn together on their phone. Just in case our legs were too stiff to run, the muscular man and I quietly shifted around a bit to loosen up our legs. Me and Officer Ji-young. Lots of noises were coming from outside of the warehouse. It sounded like a lot of people in cars. At the same moment, the minute had also hit 12. We both stood up and ran toward the back of the warehouse. By the time the two guards noticed we were gone, we were already taking cover behind the cargo containers. Any time now. Just a little longer. The guard with the gun was walking toward the back of the warehouse, while the other one was behind him. We needed to stall a little longer. We couldn't let them come any closer. The muscular man raised the gun that I had given to him. First shot hit the shelf near the guards. Second shot hit the ground. After we ran out of bullets, we were captured. That was a mistake. I was counting on him to defend himself with a gun. I should have kept it for myself. Rip. Let's shift that back here. I said shift that again. Come on, Jimmy. Okay, what's next? Pie games. A wise choice. Is this the fucking syringe game? It's the syringe game. Okay. So I picked none of them. Alright, let's try this. Oops, I didn't even pause. I tried my best to organize my thoughts over and over again. Going to the Hinson pile, of the 5 syringes, the only one that could possibly be the antidote was the purple one. I injected the purple drug into myself, yet I felt a strong palpitation in my heart. I suddenly felt something in my throat. I had to cough it out. In my horror, I saw blood flying out of my mouth. How? Was my reasoning wrong? No, it couldn't have been. Logic was sound. It was because, so it must be because of... the syringes. Pie had set me up again. Palpitations had morphed into insufferable pain. Couldn't think anymore and fell to the ground, completely powerless. When the side doors opened. A pair of pitchback, squeaky clean Oxford stepped into the hall. Masked face, just like the one on the screen, was now incredibly close to mine. What a shame. Game over. I take it one of the hints here would have been the syringes. I have a feeling that the syringes would be the hint there. Because the purple is the legitimate solution to the logic puzzle. So... Alright. We're going to stab ourselves with 2 syringes. I decided that the antidote must be made up of more than one drug. I injected the 2 drugs that I had picked into my body, yet I felt a strong palpitation in my heart. Blah, 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 blah. I coughed out blood. You failed, Jimmy. There must be a bug in my logic. Fine, come out here. I slammed my hand on the door and screamed at the screen. No response. All strength leaving from my body. All I could do was curl in the ball, trying to write my last words on the ground with blood. Okay. Okay, so the actual solution to the logic puzzle was purple. Which is why when we picked the purple one and died anyways, Pi came out to rub it in our face that he swerved us. You crafty bastard, Pi. Okay, let's save Jimmy. Alright, one more in the final battle. Let's see what happens. We have a spotty link this time. Okay, Jimmy in. Something incredible and weird happened. I jumped into the fucking toilet. Because why not? Panic, I put one foot in the toilet, but somehow sucked my entire body inside. Huge noise immediately followed, and I could see nothing but darkness. From a scientific point of view, this was absolutely ridiculous and impossible. There was no other reasonable explanation. My body had just shrunk. To keep myself from sliding down further, I jumped upwards as hard as I could. I had bumped into something, but surprisingly it didn't stop me. I landed next to the toilet, smelling like crap, figuratively and literally. Fortunately, my body had changed back to normal. But unfortunately, Pi was standing right in front of me. He didn't show any signs of surprise, just immediately sprayed a can of God knows what all over my face. And my consciousness had finally returned to this world. Pi was standing right in front of me. Super game. You must have thought that I would just kill you in your home and finish it all, right? Well, to be honest, games we played together were really enjoyable, so it would be a shame to just kill you off like that. In return, I have made some special arrangements just for you this time. An even more spectacular arcade. I gestured behind him. It wasn't a very large room, but I could see all kinds of horrifying tools and devices everywhere. This time the game would be played on nightmare level. That's okay, Jimmy, just die. Okay. That'll be all for now. We'll continue this escapade in a bit. Resuming our quest here, I'm hoping that going through this ending, this letter, might give us a bit more clarity into Park Sang-gun's home life. As we still had it's hard to say what actually happened here. Pretty sure the context was that his dad was actually right, and his mom was having an affair with the Russian store owner Alex, friend of the family. But this is also bad. It's hard are they trying to, is the game trying to tell us that we need to substitute all of this? It's the game's trying to tell us that the mom was the abuser all of this time, and his dad was the victim. But his dad was also on hard times. his mom was actually cheating. His mom wasn't quite as great as he made it out to be. Well, I find it hard to believe that every instance of his dad remembering his dad abusing his mom was really the inverse. I find that really hard to believe. In the simple context of this letter, it's much easier to believe. It's really... Keep in mind, his dad's behavior in this letter is inexcusable too. Even if your spouse cheats on you, this is not the way to handle it. But it's still understandable that a kid might still cling to their mother in all of this, even if their mother didn't always treat them as great as their mind might have believed. I guess what I'm trying to say is that whatever we're expected to believe about Park Sang-gun's condition and his family situation, I feel like it's more convincing to believe that this scene happened as played out. Just, there's a lot more awful stuff that he doesn't remember about his mom. But this scene happened as it played out. What endings we need to get? Let's sort this out. I'll be right back. Oh, we're getting new endings on both sides. On Carlos' side, this is the first time we meet Yi. I must stop Dad. I climbed up onto the table and smashed the vodka bottle onto his head. He suddenly stopped and fell to the ground on his back. Something dark and red was coming out of Dad's head and onto the floor. I carefully climbed off the table and ran into her arms, just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we would huddle together like this. It was the only way we could make ourselves feel better. This time Mom seemed to have fallen asleep. I tried to shake her awake. I tried as hard as I could, shouted as loud as I could. She would not wake up. I cried. Bad. I heard the sound of a rope snapping. I turned around and I saw the girl shaking off the rope. Hello, Yi. Mr. Kwan would kill me if I let her get away. I grabbed her arm as she was trying to get up from the chair. You can't. Before I could finish, she kicked me in the crotch. Ooh! I felt a boom in my head. She was so tough, even tougher than my sister. She knocked me out in just a few hits. Then she tied me to the chair like a zongzi. P.S. Zongzi was one of my favorite Chinese desserts. Oh. She spent a long time tying me up. When she opened the door, she happened to bump into Mr. Kwan, who had just come back. Hey, we were just having some, Mr. Kwan looked over her head and saw a tied-up zongzi. Bondage play? You couldn't even handle a girl. You useless piece of shit. As a reward, Mr. Kwan gave me a punch to the face. I could see so many Mexican flags flying around my head. Oh. Rank A. I mean... I just wanted to try it out. Nothing wrong with that. Just out of curiosity, does this lock out into... Yeah, it locks out the entirety of pie. Okay. Just curious. Oh, there's a new park ending. Mom's face turned red first, and then blue. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. The rope in my hands was choking her tighter and tight. Oh, what? I could see the old bruises all over Mom's body. Couldn't stand this anymore. What? Couldn't stand to watch Mom suffer like this anymore. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, but my brain was completely empty. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to scream my heart out. Dad's face changed into a shocked expression. He stumbled back, and he stepped on the bottle on the floor and fell over backwards. Finally, Mom stopped struggling. She fell into my arms with a smile on her face. She was so still. I dropped my hands. helped Mom close her eyes and wipe the tears off of her face. Wow. Mom, I'm so happy. I heard the door open behind me. Turned around. Dad had run out. I didn't know where he was going. Huh? Let me read that again. The rope in my hands. I couldn't stand this anymore. Whoa. Holy shit. That was wild. Well, here we go again. Mom's face turned red at first, then blue. The rope in my hands was choking her tighter and tighter. Oh, we're doing this again, are we? See the old bruises all over Mom's body. Couldn't stand this anymore. Couldn't stand to watch Mom suffer like this anymore. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, but my brain was completely empty. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted to scream my heart out. Dad's face changed into a shocked expression. He stumbled back. Then he stepped and fell to the floor and fell over backwards. The doorbell rang. I came back to my senses and dropped my hands. Mom was gasping for air. She looked at me with a look I had never seen before. What had I just done? Why am I here? Who am I? I let out a scream and ran out the door. Could never come back to this house ever again. Oh. Well. Well, we have a lot to do here, so... I might just kind of skip over this one entirely. But... your usual warnings. We'll see what happens here. Well, alright. I was able to dodge the pen when I tried to stab him. I only hurt his shoulder a little. Lee Young-suk was outraged. He slapped me square in the face twice with both his hands. I fell to the ground. Everything looked like a blur, and I didn't have any more strength to fight back. The door opened. I didn't have to look to know it was Lee Young-chul. Uncle, why is your shoulder bleeding? Do you need some help with that? His voice was shaking, but I could tell he had mustered up all of his courage just to say something. Who gave you permission to speak? His courage was only met with more insults from Lee Young-suk, so he walked out of the room in silence as usual and closed the door behind him. Oof. Oh boy. Oh god. I have regrets. Yeah, we're gonna just skip the rest of these bad endings. I'm sorry about that. This should not be a completely bad ending. The chair only hit his shoulder. Lee Young-suk screamed in pain and covered his injured shoulder with one hand. What happened, Uncle? The door opened. Lee Young-chul was standing at the door. I was a little surprised to see an injured Lee Young-suk. He isn't feeling well today. Shall we wait until another day? Hey, pigs were flying. When did he start defending me? I chuckled twice despite my bleeding lips. Lee Young-suk stood up straight again, his lips trembling with anger. He walked towards his nephew and slapped him squarely in the face. What an asshole. Who gave you permission to speak? Take this little back to his room and no dinner tonight. All the way back, he kept his head down, didn't say a word. One evening, I didn't have anything to eat. An improvement. Slightly. Not the worst ending. What am I kidding? All these endings are bad. This should be the last ending of this bunch. Put my hand in my pocket and held the pen. Palms were already sweating. I heard that your mother died. The young Suk suddenly spoke. Didn't expect to hear him mention my mom, but I had no intention of saying anything to him. You may not know this. She had come to visit you quite a few times. What? How could it be? I had never seen her once. He must be lying. What was he trying to do this time? I stared at him, my hand clenched harder. She was severely ill, even more so than you, so I didn't let her see you. No, he was lying. He was lying. How could Mom be ill? She's not lying. Mom wasn't ill, neither was I. You're just a liar, a big, big liar. My hands were trembling. Mother had the same cognitive dissonance disease. It was hereditary. I've always said that your father would beat you and your mother all the time, but the truth was the opposite. It was your mother who would beat you and your father. You were too close to your mother. Your subconscious is unwilling to admit to yourself that she could be so violent and abusive. Therefore, when the bad things happened, the roles of your parents would be switched in your mind without you even realizing it. I almost lost the strength to keep standing. My head started to feel like it was going to explode. How? How could this be possible? Father realized that your mother was getting worse, so he paid a lot of money to let us take you in. He thought that we could help with your condition, that you would be safe here, too. What? Yet, well, he didn't know that there was no cure. Besides, pretty boys like you were... Oh, boy. Okay, you're still fucked up. You're still fucked up, Doc. Oh, boy. Just when he was starting to tell the truth, that made me doubt all of this. He said that. Okay, you're still a sick fuck. And deserve to get your willy cut off. Besides, pretty boy. Okay, the bastard. Why would he lie to me like this? Hasn't he tortured me enough? I must kill him. I raised my right hand up high and stabbed toward his chest with the pen. He dodged to the side and punched me right in the stomach. Oh boy. The Yunsuk punched him. The dark truth. Oh boy. Oh. Your mother had the same cognitive dissonance disease. Oh boy. It's like, literally, how do you explain that first letter? They're trying to expect us to believe that in that first letter, he smashed his mother with a bottle because she was trying to strangle his father. But she loved his mother and was afraid of his father, so he did the opposite. And it's... I don't know what to think of that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. It just... Ugh. Well, let's continue on down the line. My sister. This is linked with Cheng Young-min. Okay. Is the kidnapping? Oh boy, we have 2 of these that are locked out that we can't exactly get at yet. So, Carlos time. That's okay, we're doing Carlos first anyways. Alright. This is Carlos first getting to Hong Kong, looking for any sort of leads as to his sister. Someone quickly ran past me and bumped into my arm. My phone was knocked out of my hand and dropped on the ground. Kept spinning ahead and almost fell down a storm drain. That was close. There was total chaos in front of the burning building. I left the crowd and walked to the next street, asking the pedestrians about Alicia. Well, that was simple enough. Well, okay, here goes. Fire trucks hadn't arrived yet. It was total chaos in front of the burning building. More and more injured people being carried out of the building. A man in a black trench coat seemed to have summoned a lot of people to help put out the fire. I wasn't injured and I had all my limbs. I thought I should go help too. I walked toward the man. Excuse me, I'd like to... A huge man in a black suit appeared in front of me and blocked my sight. The suit guy seemed to be twice my size. He looked down upon me and I could see a deep scar on his face. Help. I swallowed anxiously and had no idea what to say next. The suit guy held up his hand and pointed to somewhere behind me. A truck full of fire extinguishers had arrived. The fire was finally put out by sunset. I sat on the stairs at the bottom of the building, exhausted. I was covered with dust and ash from head to toe. All of the injured people had been sent to the hospital. The man was leading the team had already left. My stomach began rumbling. Man, if I could only get a free meal if helping put out a fire. Well, he tried. So we had to get the lead. Man picked up the phone and saw a picture of Alicia. Here in the Black Dragon gang. Okay. Time to do this side. Where what happened here? We first met Mr. Kwan. And we are doing our gang initiation. Well, this could only end badly. A dark red hole appeared on the forehead of the owner. Oh, everything had been going well. He had accepted my cell phone quietly, which I had hidden in my left palm when I slammed my hand down on the counter. He had also taken the few large bills out of the drawer and handed them to me. I was about to leave. The gun went off by accident when I was putting it away. There was blood everywhere. I left the store and handed the blood-stained plastic bag to Mr. Kwan. How dare you play a trick on me? You think the Black Dragon gang is just a joke? He punched me in the head and knocked me to the ground. And he gave me several heavy kicks to the stomach. Passers-by around us all hurried away, afraid of being caught in the middle. After Mr. Kwan left, I walked back to the city with a limp. Before I knew it, I was sitting in the police station. Lord, I have to confess. Please forgive me. Yikes. Alright. Better outcome, please. Dark red hole appeared on the forehead of the owner. Nope, we're not getting a better outcome. I'm sorry. He had already taken a few large bills out of his drawer and handed them to me. I was about to leave. The gun went off by accident when I was putting it away. There was blood everywhere. I left the store and handed the blood-stained plastic bag to Mr. Kwan. Checked the money inside. Then he said I had passed the test. I didn't speak at first. Oh shit! Then I grabbed the bag from Mr. Kwan's hand and began running back the way we had come from. Mr. Kwan never tried to catch me. A few people on the street gave me some strange looks. They must have thought that I was a madman. I wasn't mad. I was guilty. I was guilty of killing someone. I had to confess. I must confess. So before sunset, I was already sitting in the police station. There were blisters on both my feet. Lord, I have to confess. Please forgive me. Carlos, the good boy. Why must he suffer like this? Lives in group light. Mr. Lin. Oh, this is the E letter. Yeah, this is the E letter. Now we can get the endings from Carlos's perspective. What do we need here? We need a lot of endings. Okay, let's try this. This could only end badly. I just sat back down and Mr. Kwan came back. He looked inside the room and that grim expression came over his face. This is how you watch someone? Quickly turned around. Oh my lord! Earlier the girl had seemed to be having a seizure. Her entire body was shaking and she kept hitting the wall with her head. Oh. I was afraid that she would hurt herself too much, so I adjusted the rope on her. But I didn't realize the rope had become tighter and tighter while she was struggling, that she almost couldn't breathe. Thank God Mr. Kwan had come back early and noticed that, otherwise I would have made an unforgivable mistake. Ren tossed a knife over to me and looked away. I had not been in the group for long, but I knew the rules. If I wanted to stay, I had to do this. I went to the part and cut off my left pinky finger. Half of the bloody finger dropped to the floor. Blood was still gushing out. It hurt like hell, but I was a man. I didn't make a sound. Who on earth was that girl? If only I had been more careful. Okay, at least no one died. But still, the bad outcome of this letter seems to be Carlos failing a task and having to lose a finger. Now that he's actually in the group. This could only go worse. Mr. Kwan came back. He looked inside the room and a grim expression came over his face. You're dead now, Carlos! He quickly turned around. Oh my lord! Earlier the girl had seemed to be having a seizure. Her entire body was shaking and she kept hitting the wall with her head. I was afraid that she would hurt herself too much, so I adjusted the rope on her. I didn't realize that the rope had become tighter and tighter while she was struggling, and that she couldn't even breathe. Now she was dead! Oh lord, what have I done? I dropped down on my knees. I couldn't stop shaking. A bullet flew out of Mr. Kwan's gun. It was flying toward me, and I could see it getting closer and closer. Bad. Okay, let's go. Last ending. The girl seemed to be having a seizure. Her entire body was shaking, and she kept hitting the wall with her head. Kwan would kill me if she hurt herself too much. I tried adjusting the rope on her, hoping to pin her head to the back of her chair. She suddenly started struggling with all of her might, and the rope snapped. I grabbed her arm as she was trying to get up from the chair. You can't. Before I could finish, she kicked me in the crotch. I felt a boom in my head. Ooh, she was so tough, even tougher than my sister. She knocked me out in just a few hits. Then she tied me to the chair like a zongzi. P.S. Zongzi was one of my favorite Chinese desserts. She spent a long time tying me up. When she opened the door, she happened to bump into Mr. Kwan, who had just come back. Mr. Kwan looked over her head and saw a tied-up zongzi. Bondage play. Couldn't even handle the girl. A useless piece of shit. As a reward, Mr. Kwan gave me a punch to the face, better than losing a finger. I could see so many Mexican flags flying around my head. Youch! But alas, we can go back to this. Okay, where do we need to go from here? Oh, wow. Concrete death. Oh, that's concerning. We'll go down to concrete death then. Yep, I just have to get a bad end here. Goody. Alright, let's go. Pi tied me up and tossed me aside after noticing me. Then I watched Pi perform an unbelievable operation on Kai. He made sure that Kai would never be able to assault anyone ever again. Pi must be a total psycho. He still wasn't done. Pi stuffed the mutilated Kai into a bulk bag and started pouring the concrete he had mixed into the bag. Kai was soon completely covered in concrete. Kai no longer existed in this world. Then Pi grabbed another empty bag and walked toward me. Soon I would no longer exist in this world either. Yeah, pretty much a normal variation of Pi. Oh, Pi. You're so Pi. Catch me if you can. This was the one where we had to figure out a bad outcome here. Caught. That's what we started out with, being caught. Then we found the right path. There's an even badder bad end, apparently, which I theorized was kind of somehow leading yourself back to the beginning of the maze. So let's see if we can figure that out. Alright, let's see what happens here. I seem to have made a mistake. Somehow we walked into a dead end. What? Just whenever I was double-checking my map, we heard someone yelling from a distance. The twins had seen us. There's a dead end here? Let's see, where do we go? East-west, north, west-west, west, north-north. So we went east-west, north, west, 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 north, north. So we went east, west, north, west. Oh. Oh, is this just the outcome where we somehow avoid the guards? We avoid the guards, we don't get into the, yeah, we don't get caught by the guards, we don't make it to the end. It's just, that's the final outcome there. Nice. We just get lost. And that's it. Well, okay, Alicia time. So, Jack. In the interim between Park Sang-gun and Pi, we got Jack. Jack was only 15, curly blonde hair, pair of clear blue eyes. Jack never talked too much. Rarely mentioned everything about himself, saw a horrifying burn scar on his back. Wanted to be a doctor. Jack, my little angel. And then Jack became a serial killer. That worked. Okay. Let's get our, Okay, let's go. We huddled up together inside the dumpster and held each other's hand. Instead stank around us, but we couldn't care less. We were only praying that we wouldn't get discovered by the men outside. Reminded me of the time when my parents were killed. Carlos and I had been hiding inside of a small closet that felt just like this dumpster. My 3-year-old brother was still asleep. Didn't even notice what had been going on outside. Oh! I witnessed my parents being gunned down through the gap between the closet doors. Damn it, where are those bastards? Oof. A curse pulled me back from my memories. Fortunately, their voices seemed to be moving away from us. Before long, the dumpster started to shake. It seemed to be moving. Then it tilted. We were dumped out of it, along with the other trash, and fell onto the piles of garbage on the lot of the recycling center. Over there! They're over there! Girl with a purple dress. I saw her. We were discovered. And we were captured before we could run too far. We were brought back to the auction house. What was going to happen to us? That's a bit of a tidbit we didn't know before. Alicia witnessed her parents being gunned down. I feel like that's a very fitting connection to their parallel narratives. Carlos needs to be navigated through without doing anything that would go against, that would be a sin. Doing anything too sinful. Carlos stays pure. Alicia doesn't have that luxury. Right from the day they were orphaned, Alicia didn't have that luxury anymore. She witnessed her parents being killed. Carlos was too young. Carlos was asleep. Carlos never saw it. Carlos was never exposed to the worst of the world. Oh, this keeps going. Doesn't seem to... Oh, nope. Nope, that locks. Oh. Jack didn't escape, so Pi never comes too, so everything that happens after Pi gets locked. God, that is... the level of detail that had to have gone into planning the logic here. What becomes available, what's not. That's impressive. That's really impressive. Time to be sad. Fortunately, we already S-ranked that. Time to be sad. Alicia's fate after the... yeah. Oh boy. Alright, let's see what happens. I tried to reach for the kit, but the rope in my left hand was too tight. Whenever I had gotten a chance to be alone, I would try to wiggle my wrist to loosen up the rope a little. I must have noticed that it had gotten loose after my seizure yesterday. They had tied it up again. Damn it, I hadn't expected the opportunity to present itself so soon, and I was not prepared. It was such a failure. Doctor came back from his phone call. I was still lying on the bed, all spread out with my eyes closed, mumbling quietly to myself. Just as he had left me. He felt my forehead with his hand, filled with the IV for a bit, closed his kit and left. I opened my eyes when I heard the door close, and I wept. Damn. Alright, here goes. Wiggled my left hand out of the loosened rope and reached for the kit. I grabbed the bottle close to my left hand, the sleeping pills. It was almost the size of half of my palm. I needed to hide it somewhere. I saw the slipper that I had dropped yesterday when I was having a seizure. It was close enough for me to reach it. The doctor came back from his phone call. I was still lying on the bed, all spread out and with my eyes closed, mumbling quietly to myself, just as he had left me. He felt my forehead with his hand, filled with the IV a bit, closed his kit and left. I opened my eyes when I heard the door close. The bottle of sleeping pills was still safely hidden inside the slipper. I know that as long as I do my best, my my dream will come true. Oh. Oh.
Carlos, te extraño.
Whoa. This seems bad. This seems really bad. I've got a really bad feeling about this. Picked a random bottle from the hundreds of bottles of fine wine in the underground wine cellar, and put it on the luxurious short table in front of the old man. He nodded with approval and popped the cork. The bright red liquid was poured into an exquisite-looking wine glass. It was swirling and glistening like flowing ruby. Drink it. Drink it. Drink it. I was standing next to him. Sweat was pouring out of my forehead. I had mixed all the sleeping pills I had stolen into the bottle. It would guarantee a nice nap if he would just drink one glass. Then I should be able to escape from his bedroom window. I could finally escape this hellhole forever. Manija's lips had already touched the glass when the housekeeper knocked on the door and informed him there was a visitor. A man with only one arm was sitting on the sofa in the living room. A couple of tall, muscular bodyguards were standing behind him, ready for instructions from their boss. I'd never seen Manija act like such a spineless weasel before. He had the most cowardly smile on his face. He seemed determined to lower himself as much as possible in front of the one-armed man. The man yawned and grabbed at the bottle of the flavored wine on the table. Was he going to drink it? Oh no, if he fell asleep my whole plan would be exposed. If that should happen, I had to get out now. Quietly took a few steps back, looking for an opportunity to sneak out of the room. The one-armed man raised the bottle to his nose, sniffed, poured the wine out, knocked over the glass, grabbed the old man toward himself by the collar. The one-armed man wiped his nose at Manija's collar. You pathetic little prick. You dare try to drug me with sleeping pills? Manija was shot in the face by the one-armed man before he could utter a word. As soon as the boss was dead, Ja's bodyguards immediately dropped their weapons and surrendered. All the other servants and maids, including me, were running toward the nearest exits in panic. Everyone wanted to get out of there as soon as they could. People were screaming and running into and falling over each other. It was total chaos. However, they didn't intend to let anyone leave here alive. I felt a sharp pain in my left leg when I was the only one to turn away from the back door. I fell to the floor. Blood was oozing out of the wound in my ankle. I felt the cold barrel of a gun pushing up against my forehead. I knew that if I moved even a little, another hole would appear there. Wait. The one-armed man walked over to the body of the housekeeper and stopped in front of me. He pushed this man's gun away from my head. This one is pretty. Send her to the auctioneer. Oh no. Oh no. I thought that it had been the Lord's blessing that had allowed me to survive. I thought that I had at least been more fortunate than the ones who had died. Never that would I have imagined that soon I would be sold to a freak show circus in Southeast Asia. I'd have my arms and legs cut. Oh God. Be hung in a cage like a stick and fed by people like an animal. Just for exhibition. Heavenly Father, why wouldn't you save me? Alicia. Holy shit! There's an outcome? Okay. Thick little prick, dare try to drag my sleeping pills? He stuffed the bottle inside Manija's mouth and forced the wine down his throat. Liquid that overflowed from his mouth turned his shirt into the same bright red color. It was her. She did it. She did it. He raised his trembling arm and pointed at me. Turned around and ran. I couldn't outrun the bullet. Oh shit. Blood was oozing out of the center of my forehead, turning the white velvet carpet a bright red color. Unlike the wine, it was a bewitching kind of red. Carlos, I miss you so much. Okay, what kind of endings are we looking at? Oh, we are looking at no good endings. Okay, let's not do that. Let's pretend that never happened. Let's carve that out of our memory permanently. Because holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, the normal path. The normal path. Yikes. Yikes. The normal path. Alicia's first assassination mission. For the one-armed man. So, we need to play with our actions here. We'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Either sniper dropped down instantly, but when our eyes lined up, well, I jerked myself to the side. The bullet didn't go through my eye as my opponent had hoped, but it did give me a severe injury. Right side of my face was burning. It felt like it was on fire. I lowered my body and slid down the other side of the slope. Got onto the motorcycle that I had prepared in advance. However, on the way back, my consciousness began drifting away. I lost control of the vehicle. The bike tumbled headfirst into a ditch. Blood was mixing with the muddy water in the ditch. It was black and red everywhere. Another sniper. I had not anticipated that at all. I had only myself to blame. Li Hua had escaped. Mission failed. Okay, bad times. I jerked myself to the side. The bullet didn't go through my eyes that I had hoped. It did give me a severe injury. Same thing? Right side of my face was burning, felt like it was on fire. My body set up to that, motorcycle repaired, things began drifting away, lose control, same outcome. Same outcome. Black and red everywhere. Complete failure. Li Hua dodged it. Another sniper gave her a warning. That's probably the hint for this. Bullet pierced and shattered my opponent's scope and skull. Meanwhile, while I was distracted, the red-haired woman had disappeared from my sight. I lowered my body and slid down the other side of the slope. I got onto the motorcycle that I had prepared in advance. They would no doubt be enhancing their security after this. I had failed my first mission. I didn't know how to report back to Ray. The noise from the engine echoed through the valley, and it sounded like a growl from an upset monster that no one could see, making me feel even more unsettled. Okay. Our mission continues, though. Wait. Wait, did we lock out something that we weren't aware of? When did we do that? Why did we do that? Don't understand. But yeah, this doesn't appear to change anything. Missions still continue one way or another. Okay, moving along down the line. We really only have two more to do here. Next is the black box. We're just going to scale this one because the black box intrigued me. Black metal box. 2 cubes the size of a palm with different markings on them. So the Black Dragon Gang took possession of the will cubes. Interesting. Okay, so there's primarily going to be bad endings here. We'll see if anything interesting comes up. If we do nothing, what happens? Target, the president of Shenglong Corp, Lang Jinglong. Zhilong had not been in the room. However, he was only part of the mission. And an even more important task, which was to find a black metal box that he had. Fortunately, I couldn't find the box either. I spent a long time searching for it. I must have hidden it somewhere that wasn't in plain sight. Could have had more time if it wasn't for a bomb that had been placed in the closet by someone. It was already too late when I heard the ticking sound coming from inside the closet. Boom! The closet suddenly exploded. The flames that erupted from it engulfed everyone in the room, including me. Wasn't I the only one in the room? I mean, sure. Next thing we can try is this. The door was kicked open. Guards who had broken into the office caught me inside. I jumped behind the couch, using it as cover. I had hidden 4 guns and hundreds of bullets in my janitor's uniform. I was going to claim my victory. I put out the first gun and aimed at the big man standing at the door. Then the closet in the corner of the office suddenly exploded. Now everyone in the room got engulfed. Ouch. Let's see. Oh, we got new endings on both sides this time. I reckon this was the Unit 3 finding Officer Min Jun dead at and Kang back, yeah, unconscious. This was in Kang Baekya's apartment? I recognized the man lying on the floor. Officer Min Jun's eyes were wide open. There was a dark brown stain near his chest on his dark-colored shirt. Blood had already dried. Judging by the amount of blood and the shape of it, it must be a gunshot wound. The fire was getting worse in the living room. I covered my nose while looking around. I could barely see anything anymore. The flames were now licking the clothes on Officer Min Jun's body. I couldn't just leave him here. I carried his body out of the fire and handed it over to Lieutenant Kim, who had been waiting at the door. The fire had become too big for us to go back inside. We had to wait for reinforcements from the firefighters. I waited until the firefighters had put out the fire before I went into the apartment again. I found another completely immolated body in the bathroom. Oh shit! Next day, while I was still lamenting Officer Min Jun's death, I heard another piece of shocking news. The second body was Lieutenant Kang. Oh shit! I held onto the rope with my right hand and set it all the way to the ground from the outside of the building. Well, people had seen me while I was dropping down and let out some admiring and terrifying gasps. Their attention was soon pulled away by the explosion on the top floor. My target, Lang Zhilong, had not been in the room. However, he was only part of the mission, and an even more important task, which was to find a black metal box. Fortunately, I couldn't find the box either. I spent a long time searching for it. I must have hidden it somewhere that wasn't in plain sight. I could have had more time if it wasn't for the bomb that had been placed in the closet by someone. I busted through the window as soon as I heard the ticking sound coming from inside the closet. It was already too late. I couldn't feel anything in my left hand. I looked down to where it used to be. Oof! Ouch! Ouch. Let's leave that be. Everything is locked now. Yeah, Lieutenant Kang died. What was next? God, that's gonna be a pain. So many endings left to get there. Oh boy. Oh shit. Why does him dying always default me back to that? Honestly. Okay. A guest with a beard. This was linked with Li Wen. We did get some of the endings when we were doing Li Wen's. What if we do this? Apologized to the guest who had just come in, showed him to a booth, and poured him a cup of coffee. He went back to the door and started cleaning the wet floor. Heard a flush come to the restroom. The guest with the hat walked out. Walked past the new guest's booth and went back to his own. took a ninth cigarette out of his pack and put it into his mouth. Then I noticed a flame pop up near the end of the cigarette. Walked over with a carafe, leaned over, and refilled his bug. Whispered into his ear, "Excuse me, but this is a non-smoking establishment." If he were a fellow hitman, he would have understood. The guest with the hat heard my words, nodded gently, and put the cigarette back into the pack. The menace that had been brewing in the air suddenly dissipated. The bearded man kept glancing over at us the entire time. Okay, this seemed pretty similar to the other endings to this. It wasn't a regular dagger. Then I saw him raising his right hand with the umbrella, which had been hanging from the table earlier. Pointed at the guest with the hat and me. Oh. I never suspected the umbrella would be his weapon, because it was raining. The guest with the hat reached for a cigarette pack, but it was already too late. Ouch. Multiple deafening gunshots erupted. Dozens of bullets went through our bodies. Blood and fluid. Ugh. Bad. Bad. Okay. Spotty shouldn't take too long to get through, and then we'll do one final session with Kang, Chang Young-min, and the three-way letter. It's taking longer than expected. The Feline King. Okay. This was the showdown with Blackie. The showdown with Blackie and the showdown with Kang Baekye's alternate personality. Oh shit. This enormous piece of dried fish, salted fish, represented unquestionable authority. Whoever had the dried salted fish was the leader of the cats. So what? Kept staring at Blackie, trying to scare him off. He was staring right back at me. Staring match. The sun had come out. All the spectating cats had fallen asleep a long time ago. But Blackie was still staring at me. His eyes were wide open and he had tired black bags around them. How could I tell that he had black bags around his eyes? It's a cat thing, translated into human terms. I just couldn't shut up. Finally, I gave up. Couldn't hold it in any longer. I needed to pee. It was a big country. I'm sure that I could always find another empty bagpipe. Emptier, bigger, and better pipe. Meow. Anyways, my spit flew into his eyes and temporarily blinded him. Thought I had the upper hand, when Lieutenant Kang swiftly held up his left hand, based on his hearing. I had flung my tail toward him, hoping that I could land a surprise attack. I was stopped by his bare hand, which was holding the spear, held head firmly in front of him. No one had been able to stop my tail with their bare hands before. At this point, I had no choice but to drop my weapon. Lieutenant Kang had finally seen his chance. He sprinted at me, still holding my tail in his left hand and the gun in his right. Then I heard a gunshot before sinking into an infinite darkness, filled with nothing but regret. Well, I mean, and then we died. The end. At least that chalked one off of Chang Yun-min's pile. Although, really, last thing we need to do is that last ending down here. Not that. Just gotta get into here. Okay. Okay, so we can get this. The gray truck drove into a small ditch, only meters away from the three of them. A woman with short hair climbed out of the smoking truck, looked around, and ran away as if there was something urgent. There was. She had stolen the will boxes. Meanwhile, everything continued under the light, uninterrupted. It It's like life itself. No matter how hard one struggled and fought, life just kept going on and on, uninterrupted. Meanwhile, they just kept getting older and older. Other than that, nothing ever changed. The foreigner was still hitting the man. The drunk man was still begging for mercy. The child stared blankly at them, mumbling something. Humans never really understood us. Thought we all liked being petted and tickled. That all we ever wanted was dried fish and milk. Perhaps similarly, we never really understood the humans either. True understanding between us was probably something that we would never be able to achieve in our lifetimes. Left those three humans farther and farther behind me. I kept walking ahead, looking for a place to spend the night. And that's that. That's the only thing that's locked out there. Stop defaulting to that. The fuck? Dude. Oh, interestingly. So we need to swap this back and forth in order to maximize the kidnapping case. In order to get all of these endings. Oh!
내 탓이야. 바보같이.
Oh. Lies in the archives. Okay. It was another beautiful day outside. Took 2 lunchboxes out of the microwave in the second floor break room. Then I went back to the basement. At the end of the hallway there was a door with a yellowish sign that read archives. Pushed the door open and yelled, "Nana, lunch is ready." A woman with missing hair and dark circles under her eyes walked out from the inner room. She was almost my age, but she was more senior than me here. My only co-worker in this archive room. I know I'm 2 months younger than you, but don't call me by my nickname. It's so embarrassing. Nana put the boxes in her hands on the desk near the floor and took her lunchbox from me. She went back to her seat, picked up the teapot, and poured 2 cups for the both of us. The basement must have its lights on, even in the morning. 2 boxes of homemade lunch. Steam coming out of the 2 cups of tea. That was my everyday life since I had become a police officer. It had nothing to do with justice, but it was peaceful. The room suddenly went dark. The power was out. Someone knocked on the door. It was Lieutenant Kim from Unit 3. Oh, that asshole. The city wanted to check out records and evidence for case C09795. Went into the record room that was almost 200 square meters in size. Walked to the second to the last row and picked out the files. Then I heard Nana screaming. Startled by Nana screaming, I rushed out of the record room. By the candlelight in the outer office, I could see that there were 3 more people besides me. Lieutenant Kim, Nana, and Min Jun from Unit 4, who would often come and hang out with us here. Min Jun picked up something from the desk, dropped it on the floor, and then stomped on it with his foot. Pulled out a napkin from his pocket, wrapped up the thing on the floor, and threw it in the trash can. Thank you, Min Jun. That was so scary. What just happened? I closed the door to the record room behind me, still confused. It was a bug. I was just eating my lunch when I saw a bug inside my food, a huge one. Eh? Never seen any bugs in our basement. What kind of bug was it? It's like a ball with stripes around it and a hard shell. All the stripes was about as big as my thumb. Didn't look too closely, but it was so gross. Ah, I see. That was the fried silkworm cocoon I made this morning. Oh. Okay, so that wasn't a bad thing. Later, Lieutenant Kim left with his files. Min Jun went into the armory across the hall from us. Nana told me that if I ever put bugs in our food again, she would stop talking to me. She said she'd rather I brought those Chinese snacks I called haw rolls. Although she used to think those were made of rotten strawberries, she eventually got used to it. Bugs, however, were absolutely non-negotiable. Power was soon restored. We were still talking about Chinese snacks at our desks. Nana smelled something burning. Oh shit. They finally found out what was happening. The record room was already engulfed in flames. Then I realized that when I had forgotten to run out of the room because of Nana's scream, I had forgotten to take the candle out too. Oh shit. The fire was quickly put out. Nevertheless, the station had lost 1/6 of the evidence for the open cases that were still being worked on. It was naturally expelled. Chang Gung Min. That's a rather dark route. Oh wow, this is some serious... Alright. Went back to the outer office. By the candlelight I could see that Min-jun from Unit 4 was also there. He might have come in when he heard Nana scream on his way to the armory. Nana was mad about the fried silkworm cuckoo, and I put in her lunch. However, Lieutenant Kim was not there. Where's the lieutenant? When the power went out, he took a phone call, and he said that there was some emergency, and he would come back later. Nana responded, still upset. I'll wait for him to come back then. Set the bag of evidence on the desk next to the door. Back my seat over my lunchbox, refueled myself the rest of the afternoon. C07595. I heard someone mumble something behind me. Turned around and saw that Min-jun had not left yet. He was staring intensely at the record Lieutenant Kim had requested. Don't touch it. Case files starting with C are classified material, only accessible by lieutenants and above. I told Min-jun with my mouth still full of food. Technically, Nana and I were not allowed to read the classified documents either. After having to sit in the archive room all day in and day out, I knew exactly what was in that bag. C0795 was a fatal shooting that happened on White Goat Hill. An old man, living nearby, was shot and killed by a rifle with only one shot. The case had been under investigation by Unit 3. Ever since there was no bullet at the crime scene, not much useful evidence had been found. Cases like this, that lacked evidence in which the victim was an unidentifiable civilian, were not unusual. What did make it unusual, however, was that it was labeled classified. That was why I remembered this case so well. After lunch, I took my usual walk and went to the bathroom on the first floor. I was walking past my colleagues coming and going, and couldn't help but feel a little dispirited. I didn't know how much interest I had in these cases, what kind of theories I had. I couldn't help anyone out. I used to be so ambitious, but how did I end up here in an archive room? I need to work harder and hope for a transfer, even a promotion. I came back to the archive room. The power had been restored. Min-jun was already gone. Lieutenant Kim had been waiting for me. Excuse me, sir. Sorry about the wait. Here's everything on case C0795. Looked over at the desk near the door. It was spotless and there was nothing on it. Uh-oh, Min-jun bounced with the classified case file. Where's the bag I put on the desk? Then I looked away from the computer screen. I mean, the evidence of the expired cases? Janitor took all of them away earlier. Oh shit. What? They sprinted outside, asking everyone if they'd seen the janitor. Went all the way to the garbage processing center. There must be millions of tons of garbage here. The center would burn thousands of tons of garbage every day. I threw myself onto the piles of garbage and started digging. I didn't stop until the sun had come out again the next day. Still, I couldn't find the bag. It was already time for work. I walked into the station defeated. It smelled like hot garbage. Lieutenant Kim was chatting with Lieutenant Kang in Unit 4's office wing. I stood up straight and gave him a salute, loudly and clearly telling them that I had just lost all of the files regarding case C0795. Everyone in Unit 4 stared at me with a strange look. Oh, Lieutenant Kim was even more outraged. He grabbed my collar and dragged me to the hallway. Miraculously, I had not received any serious repercussions afterwards. I also tried to access the electronic case file for case C0795 to see if I could help out with anything else. Oh, it turned out that the case did not have any electronic record at all. Weird. Oh, wow. Back to the outer office by the candlelight, I could see the Min-jun from Unit 4. It's also there. Come in when he heard Nana scream. Fried silkworm. What is that? Yeah, you requested. Handed over to Kim. Glanced at Min-jun and left. Ooh. Min-jun left on his own business. Power soon restored. Back in our usual routine. Oh, okay. C0795. I didn't expect that would be S. Door. Room suddenly went dark. Oh, okay. Get right into it. Right about Nana, I rushed out of the room. To few more people besides me. Nana and Min-jun come and hang out with us. Lieutenant Kim was not there. Min-jun stopped at the silkworm. And the chat scan. Thanks, Min-jun. That was so scary. Oh, time to burn all the records. Fried raccoons were delicious. Got a call. There's an emergency. I still think that Min-jun bounced with that case file. Wonder if that's something that Min-jun was responsible for on behalf of Lieutenant Kim. Uh-oh. Engulfed in flames. Only 34. That's, I was naturally expelled. You're fired. Get out. It's an interesting extra bit of side story. "45 minutes late. Transferred to archives." Are these all literally post-game letters? That is curious. Okay, we'll get back into that. So because the orange text, we need to get the good, bad outcome. And then write the orange text, then get the bad, good outcome. Just for completion's sake. So, I think... what was the good here? Cell phone and fire truck. So, cell phone, fire truck. What the hell would be calling me at this godforsaken moment? Turned around and answered the phone quietly. It was from the station. Told me something important had happened at the unit. I must get back as soon as possible and await further instruction. I hung up the phone and turned around, only to realize that the couple had disappeared from the ledge. Fortunately, the fire department had set up a cushion below. You moron! Do you know how big of a mess you made? That case wasn't even under our jurisdiction. Back at the station, Lieutenant Kang was outraged. He was yelling at me so loudly that the entire building could hear him. Hospital later called and informed us that the couple was okay. However, the wife had been 4 months pregnant and they couldn't save the baby. I was suspended due to the serious consequences caused by my reckless, unauthorized actions. Whoops. So there's the orange text. Something important happened to the unit. What happened to the unit? Ah, the incident there. I guess he's technically survived. I am curious. Oh. Yeah, because the fire truck arrived. Just out of curiosity. If we do that. Lieutenant Kang died, but he is okay. Okay, so maybe some of the details didn't quite. Okay, let's just get this right now. So, cell phone rang, which I assume is just going to be Lieutenant Kang trying to talk him down, but... Or better yet, the good ending happens, but we don't hit the cushion when we die. Hits the phone quietly. Lieutenant Kang. Lieutenant briefly asked me about the situation, told me to hand the phone over to the husband. It was the Boon Boon gang. What? Is it true? Oh my, that's wonderful. Thank you. Ah. Hung up the phone, dropped the knife, hugged his wife, sobbing uncontrollably. Get off the ledge. Said, Sue, it's all okay now. We can have our lives back. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. It was all my fault. What just happened? I took my phone back from the man, confused. A strong gust of wind blew past us, and the man lost his balance. He quickly reacted, took a big step forward and grabbed him, trying to pull him back. But I was pulled over instead. We fell off the ledge together. The boat was spinning. It was 10 floors off the ground. No one would survive if we hit the ground. I swung my right arm out as far as I could, hard as I could, toward the roof ledge. Something flew out of my coat. It was a white ribbon I had wrapped around my forearm. A small spearhead tied to its end. The spearhead wrapped around the middle bar on the ledge a few times and tightened the ribbon. My secret weapon. They called it my tail. For a moment I let out a sigh of relief, thinking that we were safe. The bar couldn't hold our weight and began to bend. I tightened my left fist and grabbed the man's shirt harder. I burned the last drop of energy inside me with all the adrenaline I had and forced every single muscle cell to release all of their power. Justice was not something that I only talked about. I threw him up toward the roof. We were quickly moving away from each other in opposite directions. The middle bar finally gave out. It was torn away from the concrete on the ledge and began falling with it. I could hear the wind gushing in my ears. Numerous visions were flashing in front of my eyes, like a horse lamp of my life. A running horse lamp. The heat drives the spinning wheel. The picture starts spinning. Ooh. It's my father, my mother, my master, and the big brother who had planted the seed of justice in my heart. I could feel the solid concrete break every bone in my body. It didn't hurt as much as I expected, though. And then we died. A sacrifice for the people. And that's the achievement. One for all. Okay, moving along. I need a gun. I feel like if there are any more optionals... Oh wow. That's a big one. Not first. I need a gun. So we just need one more bad ending. Alright, let's see what happens here. The toy gun as if it was mocking me. Tore the pink form into pieces in a rage. The goddamn rules! Were these stupid rules more important than a human life? The custodian was staring at the TV and he paid no attention to me. I squeezed the torn pieces of paper in my palm and tossed them on the desk. Then I stormed out of the armory without looking back. Let out a sigh. Fine. It should be okay if I just go ahead without a gun, right? Rushed out of the building, hailed a cab, and headed toward the port. Buddha would surely bless me. Buddha did not, in fact, bless me. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. Shaking hands. The choice of who to shoot. These were all bad ends, I believe. Oh god. Oh god. Fortunately, we don't have to get any more endings of that letter. Okay, okay. What? Okay, here we go. 3. Pointing my gun at Choi Johan. Trying my best to aim for his forehead. Could I make the shot? 2. The officer looked at me calmly. He seemed to be telling me with his eyes, I trust you. But I couldn't trust myself. 1. Huge drops of sweat rolling on my face when I pulled the trigger. The bullet flew out of the barrel and hit the officer's head. Sorry, Officer Ji-yoon. It exploded right in front of my eyes. Ah, aren't you a funny kid? Why don't you consider joining us? Choi Johan mocked me with his jokes and turned the gun to me. I was still paralyzed in shock. He pulled the trigger. Kang back, yeah. How does it feel watching your men die right in front of you, huh? Felt my eyelids getting heavier and heavier. I couldn't see the expression on Lieutenant Kang's face. I saw Choi mocking and taunting the lieutenant was getting further and further away, too. Okay, 3. Pointing the gun at Lieutenant Kang. Choi Johan was not easy to fool. I had to choose the lieutenant in order to save the officer. As long as I didn't have hit any critical spots on the lieutenant, it would be okay. I could also stall for a little bit longer. 2. Lieutenant Kang saw me pointing the gun at him. He didn't look like he blamed me. I could see that he understood it was my plan to stall. 1. Oh, I pulled the trigger, out the barrel towards Lieutenant Kang, and hit the man lying behind him. Lacking the pink striped shirt grunted, and everything went quiet again. As expected, my terrible shooting had just made things worse. How dare you try to trick me? Let me show you the consequences. Oof, pulled the trigger. Oof, ouch. Oof, ouch. Yeah, I'm killing all your men. Yeah, I'm so evil. Yeah, God, that one scenario seemed to go on forever. This was the blood? Oh, the one where he literally had just combinations of blood types. Alright, let's... Yeah, we have one in each. Let's just see what happens here. So... The nurse looked at Lieutenant Kang. In this case, we can only take 400 cc's from you. But 400 cc's isn't enough. Draw the blood from you first, and we'll call another hospital later. I hope it won't be too late. I sat beside them. Watched as the nurse drew blood for the lieutenant, but there's nothing else I could do. When she was done, the nurse picked up the tray and was about to leave. Wait, take some more. Oh, hello. Lieutenant Kang suddenly grabbed her hand. But if I do, you will. She tried to wiggle her way out. Oh. The lieutenant was not letting go. Just do it. It's my blood, and I can decide what I want to do with it. I completely understood the lieutenant. If it had been me, I would do the same thing. Not just 400 cc's. If I had 4,000 cc's, I would be willing to donate all of it. The nurse put down her tray and drew another 200 cc's. The lieutenant still wanted her to keep going, but she wouldn't do it no matter what. In the end, she ran away like she was trying to escape from us. An hour later, the sign went off. The doctor walked out, saw us, and rubbed his eyes. The operation was a success. The patient has lost too much blood, and we're not sure when she will wake up. The worst-case scenario, I clenched my fist. Lieutenant Kang's breathing was getting louder and heavier, too. She might fall into a vegetative state. Oh boy. So, shortage of typo. Ji-yoon was A. Young-min was B. Lieutenant Kang was A. So we were short of O. Don't have universal type. That's why we couldn't give because we were B. Lieutenant Kang could because he was A. Okay, what's next? Okay. So, Short type A, Geode is B, we're A, and Kang is O. In this case, we can only take 400 cc's, plus the last 400 cc's of type O blood in storage. It might be enough. We'll do our best. After she had drawn my blood, Lieutenant Kang and I both sat on the long bench in the hallway. The air was filled with anxiety. All we could do was wait. An hour later, the sign went off. The doctor walked out, saw us, and rubbed his eyes. The operation was a success. Oh. Well, we tried. We had 800 this time. She might fall into a vegetative state. Dang. Couldn't quite get enough. I think the best ending, we both were able to donate. Which made sense. I'm gonna be short. One more. Are these all gonna be ending C's? Just because they're not great. Alright. So, same setup as the one with the Lieutenant Kang graphic, except we're the one with type O. No, except we're the one who can donate. In this case, we can only take 400 cc's from you, plus the last 400 cc's of type O in the storage. Might be enough. We'll do our best. Oh. No, never mind. We can just wait. Rub its eyes. Success. A lot of blood. True. Okay, these are all pretty much the same. State. Damn. Okay. So we didn't really gain all that much from that. Other than completion flags. Okay, what's next? Oh boy, the big whopper. The big fucking kahuna. Goddamn. A lot going on in here. That's S. We find Minjin. And we get the fuck out of Dodge. Okay. Oh boy. We have 6 endings to get. Alright, here goes. Never expected that I would have recognized the body that just rolled out of the closet. It was Officer Minjun. The fire was getting worse in the room. Whether it had been because I had inhaled too much smoke or the temperature had gotten too high, that I was in too much shock, I felt myself unable to think anymore. I could remember that Lieutenant Kang was still in the bathroom. I saw him after I had climbed in through the broken window. I had to save him. I ran toward the bathroom. Right then, I heard the crisp cracking sound of something collapsing. A cabinet over 2 meters tall fell down in front of the bathroom door. Blocked my way right in front of my eye. Oh no. My knees crumbled and I knelt before the cabinet. I was unable to breathe. In the heavy smoke, and I slowly collapsed to the burning temperature. I began to lose consciousness. Ouch. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, this time we do everything in a slightly different order. I thought we might have done that. Officer from Unit 3 broke into the apartment and they found Officer Minjun. They also found me unconscious. I had apparently passed out of the bathroom door after inhaling too much smoke. We were rescued from the fire. I finally woke up at a safe location. The first thing I did was to tell the people around me that Lieutenant Kang was still behind the jammed bathroom door. He was passed out inside. It was already too late. They told me that the fire had been put out for a while and they had found a burned body in the bathroom. Bad. Okay. Jumped through the window. The apartment is on fire. I smashed the window of the bathroom. The shattered glass fell on an unconscious man. I turned him over. It was Lieutenant Kang. It was a burning inferno outside the bathroom. Smoke was coming from inside from underneath the door. The temperature had also risen to a significant degree. I tried to carry the lieutenant out on my back and retreat the way I had come in. The fire outside had burned down the support beams. The ceiling collapsed. Shit. Bathroom window was completely blocked, and I couldn't even call for help. The main entrance to the apartment was the only way left. I opened the bathroom door. Heat rushing in almost made me feel like I was being suffocated. The room outside had become a chaotic mass of black and red. It felt so familiar. I remember the same chaos when I had been 7 years old. There was a person who was carrying another person. I was still a coward who couldn't do anything but cry. A warrant from her big brother passing by who bravely carried me out of the fire. Cheng Yun-min would not be here at all. I never learned the name of this person who had saved me. It's Lieutenant Kang! I could barely even remember what he had looked like. The only thing I could remember of him was something he had said to me. He said, "This is my justice!" The apartment was crumbling around me. Oh fuck, it's Lieutenant Kang. My breathing was becoming heavier and heavier. My steps were getting closer, slower and slower. Eventually, I wasn't able to get out of the way when the dresser tipped over on us. Flames were licking at our bodies, but I couldn't even feel the heat anymore. Why couldn't I do it? For justice! Oh. Halfway there. That was worth going through that for. So walking past a burning house, someone was calling for help inside. Quiet rural area. Carried that little child on my back. My pants caught fire. 2 nails caught me in the neck. I'm just passing by. The kid was crying and thanking me. I'm gonna say something funny to him. Imitate him. Yo, this is my justice. We both laughed. And we both became police officers to enforce justice. Oh, that's nice. I like that. That is nice. Okay. What's left now? Let's see what happens. I smashed the window of the bathroom. Shattered glass fell on an unconscious man. Turned him over. It was Lieutenant Kang. It was a burning inferno outside the bathroom. Smoke was coming inside from underneath the door. The temperature had also risen to a significant degree. However, thanks to the officers from Unit 3 who had broken into the main entrance, I managed to carry Lieutenant Kang out of the fire. He was then brought to the hospital in an ambulance. Fortunately, Lieutenant Kang was mostly okay. The doctor said he'd only had some serious alcohol poisoning. A shocking piece of news came out when Officer Min-jun's body had all been found in the burned-out apartment. His cause of death was determined to be loss of blood caused by a gunshot wound. Since the apartment that had been on fire was Lieutenant Kang's home, he had become the key suspect. Damn it, how did everything turn out like this? If only I'd been more careful, maybe I could have found some useful clues. Oh, bad. I think that's it for the bad endings. There's still 2 more endings to go, though. Do the complete swapperoonie. I smashed the window of the bathroom. Found Lieutenant Kang. Okay, Lieutenant in the living room. Now up at the closet door. Oh, there's Officer Min-jun. Officer Min-jun. Only been a few days since we last saw each other. Never would I've ever imagined that I would be seeing him again like this. Couldn't think anymore, so I had to leave Officer Min-jun to Lieutenant Kim at the entrance. Drove Lieutenant Kang to the hospital myself as fast as I could. Fortunately, he was mostly okay. He'd only had some serious alcohol poisoning. However, this was only the beginning. Next day, I went to visit the lieutenant, who was still in a coma. A bunch of men from Unit 3 kicked me out. They had reason to believe the lieutenant might be heavily involved in Min-jun's death. From now on, they were putting him under 24-hour surveillance. Damn it, I hadn't had time to check on Officer Min-jun as I had to rush Lieutenant Kang to the hospital. Autopsy, complete supervision of Unit 3. too late to look for more clues at the scene now. So the best end, we get the key fob, right? Okay, let's try the big, nothing brewski. No one was in the bedroom. A lot of empty beer bottles were scattered on the floor, most of which were... Oh, yeah, the dreaded empty beer bottles, most of which were empty. Some of them were not empty. Oh, the beer had spilled out all over the place. Is the implication there that there are a bunch of beer bottles there? Some of them were purely empty and some of them were obviously spilled? Could have been worded better, but if that feels like that's what they were going for. There's still a lot of burning candles on the floor, too. Lieutenant Kang's passed out over here. Heard Lieutenant Kim's voice coming from the bathroom. Ran to the bathroom. Lieutenant Kang looked extremely pale. Lips were purple and he was unconscious. But I have to wonder how on earth Lieutenant King ended up here. Drove him to the hospital. Suffered from alcohol poisoning. Thank goodness we had gotten him out of there. Even a bit later, the consequences would have been severe. He survived. We hadn't noticed the unusual thing he'd in the living room at the time. Oh, but Unit 3 found the dead bodies. Officer Bin Jun's body had also been found in Lieutenant Kang's home. Reasons to believe Bin Jun was murdered. The Lieutenant might be heavily involved. 24-hour surveillance. Dead. Okay. At the end of this, yes, we can finally put this letter to rest. God damn it. Stay there. Key evidence. Oh, this is the fight in the woods. So, okay. Don't move. Heard a man's squeaky voice not too far behind me. Thought it was the 9th man who had fired at me. I didn't realize there was a 10th person. Where is it? Felt a chill go down my spine. This one wasn't an easy opponent. Nevertheless, I would never tell him. You must consider yourself loyal. Someone with integrity, right? Let me tell you something. You're only being a fool. Farewell forever, you stupid fool. Ooh! My life ended in such an unexpected and jarring manner. I saw a blood-covered bullet fly at my own forehead before everything turned dark. I fell into emptiness. Whoa! Kung Fu Scramble! Very curious. True identity of the 10th person. We only get that once we actually get enough of a drop on him to actually see him. Sacrifice for the safety of the people. No firebags. Remember why I wanted to become a policeman? Yes. Yeah, police. Spotty found his loving home. Oh. God, that hurts. So close yet so far. Oh, that's... yeah, that's the profile of Chang Yun. Okay. I get to keep resetting this because... oh, because this is connected to that by orange text. Okay. Farewell, Busan Police Precinct. So this was number combinations. We had 914. We had 19. We started out with 194. I thought 419 was one of them. I thought we had this. Did I save over it? 419. I didn't have any memories about one night stands. It reminded me of the night where Kim Jong-ho had been arrested. Lieutenant Kang had summoned everyone and we had held a celebratory party at Blue Lady. Oh, that night Jigal Wan-yum had declared that everything was on the house. It was an absolute riot in the bar. Oh, psh! Is that him, Jigal? Oh, that's the first shot we got of Officer Ji-yoon. It was an absolute riot at the bar. After I told a drunken Jigal the story about what happened to me after I left Blue Lady on the other day, he cried. Put a picture of Lieutenant Jigal Suk on the table, pulled me up from the seat, and made me bow to the picture, all while weeping uncontrollably. He told me that we would be brothers from now on. And then did I finally learn that he was the younger brother of Lieutenant Jigal. No wonder he'd been such a close friend of Lieutenant Kang. Lieutenant Kang and I didn't leave Blue Lady until it was almost daytime. I think that's the actual first picture we got of Officer Ji-yoon. It's really pretty. We left Jigal sound asleep at the bar. On our way back, Lieutenant Kang was telling me lots of stories from the days when he had been in Unit 2. I was so excited by his stories when he suddenly said to me, "There was a transfer request mixed in the middle of the reports you turned in earlier." I was stunned. I had written a transfer request, but there was no way I would have turned it in. Then I remembered. It can't be mine. I never printed mine. Aha! So you did write one. Kang burst out laughing and kept walking ahead. Then I realized I had just been duped. I remembered wondering to myself, was Lieutenant Kang forcing me to leave? But I had just done something great. Captain Gong's assigned more than 20 newbies to me over the years. Every single one of them, except Min Jun and Ji Yun, has written a transfer request at some point. And they all eventually left. Lieutenant Kang slowed down, but he was still walking in front of me. Cool moonlight was shining on his back. For the first time, he seemed a little exhausted. I stopped myself and I watched as Lieutenant Kang kept walking further ahead. His figure looked smaller and smaller. He almost looked like an old man. I took a deep breath. "Lieutenant Kang! I'll follow you until the end of days!" Lieutenant Kang turned around, off into the distance, and smiled. Whatever. I ran ahead to catch up with him when I felt raindrops on my face. It kept getting heavier and heavier until I realized it was actually snowing. Snowing in June? Something good going to happen? That day I firmly believed that we would all have a great future together. However, reality immediately gave my clueless self a cruel wake-up call. That night was the last night we ever saw Jigal. Oh! A few days after he had been confirmed missing, his body was found floating in the ocean near the port. His body was bloated and his eyes and organs were all... oh, holy shit! There was a long stitched up wound on his chest that started decomposing. Woof! A symbol had been carved near the scar. Look at his smiley face. Oh, fuck. Why? Pie! Sometimes he wouldn't even respond to us calling his name. A few days later, he disappeared too. Perhaps he had found some leads as to Jigal's death and had decided to pursue them by himself. Maybe he had run into some trouble. Whatever the case, we wouldn't get in touch with him anymore. No matter how hard we tried. 2 months later, Captain Gong made an announcement that he would transfer the only 2 remaining members of Unit 4, Officer Ji-yoon and I, to Unit 1. Joining Unit 1 used to be a dream of mine. Everyone had told me that it was the largest and strongest unit in the Criminal Investigation Division. They had over 40 official members. Once we became part of it, however, I finally learned how rotten Unit 1 truly was. But unfortunately, no matter how much I missed the days at Unit 4, I couldn't go back there again. After who knew how long, it was finally my turn. The time I was finally done, it was way past business hours. I went back to Unit 1, printed out the resignation letter, and threw it on that old fart's desk. Farewell, Busan Police Precinct. Oh. Did that inadvertently unlock, is that for... Ah, no. Wow, that was unexpectedly sad. I want to look at that again. Oh wow, we could just jump right in here. Okay. And I never actually looked at that through there before. Yep, profile of Kang. Why do they have to call it that? So reading stuff in the dictionary and unlocking all the dictionary entries are actually two different items. Where's the picture I wanted to see? Yeah, here. Oh, there are two different versions? There are different versions of this? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, like a legitimately fun time. Yeah, there's still two more of those to unlock. So yeah, I think we literally just have Kang back to go. And even that's just 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the special op midnight. Okay. Oh, this one. Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's simple enough. Just in case our legs were too stiff to run, the muscular man and I quietly shifted around a little bit to loosen up our legs. Lots of noises were coming from outside of the warehouse. It sounded like a lot of people in cars. Same moment, the minute had also hit 12. Both stood up and ran toward the back of the warehouse. Those two guards were wide awake now. Multiple gunshots echoed inside the warehouse. I was about to get behind a cargo container when I felt a burning pain in my right leg. Damn it, I was hit. Blood was flowing down my leg, onto my shoe and onto the ground. As if it were mocking me, I heard that voice again. A voice that couldn't have been more familiar to me. Idiot. I came out from behind the container. Hiding was pointless to me. Even without a gun, those two didn't stand a chance against me. After the two guards met their gruesome deaths, I caught the muscular man in my sights. That was what had worried me the most. The muscular man was holding my Glock 43, but he was hesitating. What are you waiting for? Fire! Haven't I made it abundantly clear to you before? I was screaming in anger in the small, dark room, but no one in the real world could hear me. I grabbed his head with both hands. Stop! With my strength, his neck twisted a full 360 degrees, just like the others. His body crumpled and dropped to the ground. There was nothing I could do but watch him fall. Every single fiber of my being was filled with desperation, guilt, and regret. Just like 6 years ago. Okay. Moving right along. So we need to... If we do that, then we can get the rest of the... Yeah, then we're good. Okay, I think we're good to get the rest of these. Okay. Let's go through... Get whatever we're missing here first. And then... figure out the two that we don't know, and then get the one that we do know. Okay. Bird chirping, Lieutenant Kim fell. Blurred said flesh. Near the sound of the bullet cutting through the air, I knew it was already too late. There was no time to dodge, in order to pull Kim up as a shield. I must have had a thermal scope to be able to shoot even with the curtains blocking the view. The bird chirping must have been a signal for the shot, so that Kim would separate from me. Damn it. They got me. I'd seen people being shot by a sniper rifle countless times. It was still difficult to describe the feeling of being hit myself. Watched the bullet enter the front of my body. I'd feel it blast a gigantic hole in my back. I couldn't feel the pain, nor the heat. All I could feel was that. It was all over. Yeah, that... Yeah. Okay, carrying on. Blood was gushing out of Lieutenant Kim's body. Oh shit, the bullet that had gone through his brain did not come from my gun. It was from a sniper far away. Bird chirping must have been a signal for the shot. Kim had failed to dodge the shot. Perhaps because the curtains had blocked the sniper's view. His man must have missed. Lieutenant Kim was dead. Whoops, and the truth was now gone with him forever. After that, I became a wanted fugitive. Yeah. Is this the... Wait, is it still locked? Air chirping, sudden breeze, bullets, Lieutenant Kim fell. Oh. Wait, what? That's still locked. Huh. Interesting. You know, after some tinkering, I'm realizing that the story of Kang continues even with this alternate route of Chang Yong-min's. This was where he lost the case files for C0795. But the story continues down to here, and now that ending's unlocked. Or did I just do that wrong? I swear to God, that was locked. The sniper shot from afar destroyed Lieutenant Kim's shoulder blade. My instincts immediately pulled Kim in front of me as a shield when the wind blew open the curtains, in case there was a sniper. Otherwise, it would have been the one that got hit. The bird chirping must have been a signal for the shot. I pulled Kim up off the floor. When I grabbed his shoulder, I intentionally stuck my right hand into his wound. He let out a scream of pain. Keep screaming. You better let everyone out there hear you. The sniper vanished almost instantaneously. It was in complete chaos on the ground. It seemed like the old man had not ordered the shot. Must be the stupid pretty face again. As Baker buzzed again. Promise you, I'll personally supervise the investigation of Min Jun's case. You won't be detained. You can be a part of the team until we uncover the truth. Trust me, Lieutenant Kang. You could hear how sincere the old man was just from his voice. Remind me of the time when he handed me the appointment letter. If he had a little more time to find definitive evidence to convict Kim. Lieutenant Jagol would have wanted that too, right? I sat down by the wall next to Kim, waiting for the old man to send his people in. I was exhausted. A few minutes later, a 5-person team entered the house. Strangely, they were all wearing bulletproof vests. One of them untied Kim's hands and feet. I stood up on my own, but they didn't try to take me in. Instead, 5 guns were shoved in my face, point blank. I took another look. All of them were from Unit 3. Haha. It wasn't the old man's fault. It was me who had been too trusting. Pulled a little, and a little more. 5 bullets. It was down. All 5 of them. Looked outside the window. On the roof of another building, 800 meters away, someone waved at me. That was my most trustworthy ally. Min Jun. What? Oh! Min Jun! That night, Jagol held a celebration banquet at Blue Lady for us. What? It was a huge day for us both. Every guest was told that the drinks were all free. It was a blast. Even a loner like me, who had always hated occasions like this, was starting to feel upbeat. And Min Jun, who had always been a quiet guy, was talking and laughing non-stop the whole evening. There was Ji-Yun, too, who had been drinking with Jagol the entire night. I had a feeling everything was going to be different starting tomorrow morning. Whoa! Whoa! Oh. It's interesting. I guess we have to put this back. Now are we stuck back here? S, 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 S across the board. Nice. Interesting. We can go back. What I want to look at. Peace. Chang was not involved in the Unit 4 incident. Unit 4 survived. Wow, yeah. That's interesting. 100% of the album. Okay. Guess it's time to sort this out. So, 2 endings for Hotaru, 2 endings for Pai, 2 endings for Carlos. I guess we'll start from the top and work our way down. Okay, we just got all new endings for everybody. That makes my life easier. I choked the neck of the guard in front. But I didn't want to kill either of them. There was no reason to punish them, besides as long as I could get out of here. There would be nothing they could do about me. My fists were no match for a gun. While I was struggling with the one guard, the other twin walked into the room. Hey, what are you doing? Put out his gun and shot me in my shoulder. Oh shit. Staggering pain spread through my whole body from his shoulder. I had to let go of his brother and stumbled back, leaning against the wall. In the end, the other two were not able to escape either. The plan ended up being a total failure. The syringe fell out of his hand, went through the grate, and somehow jabbed right into my shoulder. Oh shit. I felt a chill spreading from the needle to my entire body. Time to trip. I closed my eyes and opened them again, lying in a clean but strange bathhouse. Alicia was sitting by my bed. Oh, clean but strange house. Alicia was sitting by my bed, looking at me and caressing my hair. Just like she used to do. Not seen her for 9 years. She still looks so beautiful, so young. Alicia, I miss you. Even though I knew it wasn't real, I still couldn't control myself from calling out to her. That was how powerful the drug was. Came to my senses once again, I was lying in the medical room of the prison. Finally realized the plan had failed. Hold on 1 second. Morgan took out a syringe and aimed at his arm. The needle did not go into his arm. He dropped it. Oh no! That was... oh god. That's when Morgan was wondering where the syringe was had gone. Voices came out from under the window. Carlos, you idiot. You were so screwed. Yeah? Hey, Carlos is tripping balls. Don't blame him for that, Otaru. Oops, didn't mean to start this up again. Okay, we are 2 of 3. Put my hands to the grate and grab the ankles of the guard. Oh! Otaru, run! Didn't know when it come over me to do something like this. The dark figure might have just been startled or simply lost its balance. He fell and sat on the ground. Otaru didn't run. He screamed at the figure on the ground. No! Don't do it! He was trying to stop something. Immediately understood what it was. Finally saw the other person's face in the moonlight. Morgan, the guard from Britain, had drawn his gun and was pointing it at my face under the grate. Oof! Oh, Jesus! I heard a gunshot. Something red and warm was dripping on my face. 07091220. What? Otaru lay on the middle grate. Whoa! His breath was getting weaker and weaker. He kept saying those numbers. Maybe they were the password to his bank account. Damn it! You shouldn't tell me. You knew I was too dumb to remember it. Oh, Jesus! Morgan tumbled and I fell to the ground. I saw a pair of hands grabbing his right ankle. Run! I heard a mumbled voice come out from below. Carlos, you idiot! They still needed him alive. If he died, I wouldn't be able to find that woman. If it wasn't for that, there was no way I would have participated in this stupid escape. Before I even realized it myself, I had blocked out the window with my own body. I heard a gunshot. Something warm was coming out of my chest. Sisters used to say that people who smiled a lot would enjoy good fortune. They would always tell me that I had the prettiest smile in the Okia. I must be a very, very lucky person. The only thing was, I used up my lifetime share of luck on the night when I met him. Ah. That's sad. Ah, that's sad. We just have this bugger to do. Okay, this should be the last ending for Pi. I held my breath and pushed my back against the wall. Grabbed the door lightly with my hands. As soon as he took one more step, I would. The man stopped, peeked through a crack in the door, and saw the guard front turning his back to his brother and asking, "Which one?" "It's New Bar on Bay Road. You've been there, have you?" "Oh, have you?" "Of course not. I heard it from Morgan. He said the girls there were super hot, and... oh, that sounds like fun." Subject seemed to have excited the twins a lot. The steps continued again, just outside the door. Only this time they were getting further away from me. Walked back to the skylight window. Carlos was not there anymore. The window was open. Someone was looking down through it, and our eyes met. But neither Hotaru nor Carlos. There was a guard here. His name was Morgan. Whoops! Oh, that was wouldn't have heard a gunshot, though? I'm curious about something. So if I do that... This was where we had our can find evidence against it. Back to truth. That stays locked. If we do that. So confirming that Minjun essentially. Curious. Oh hey, so this popped up. Word collector. So this only thing that really changed was just to get Gyeongmin's best ending, we had the bathroom ending set to Z. So that changed this story. So let's see. Blue Lady was in Fizz Gay Bar. Blonde Boom Moons. Jigal Wan Yoon. Knew each other, they've been friends for a long time. He once brought me here drinking, so I'd met Jigal once. Oh. Before we were strangers, right? Fortunately, we through the dance floor. Went up. Yeah, before they were giving me strange looks. Trade something. Yeah, we're playing Ghost Up. And now we've read all this stuff. Okay. That's a really subtle change. Oh, not bad. Not bad. That's that done. That's really didn't even need to do anything. And as far as the last version of that, of this, look at the guy in the corner, in the blue jacket, blonde hair. Yeah, that's Pi. And the outcome where Minjun was here, it's not Pi. Because based on everything else we had to lock out by giving Chang Gyung-min a life of peace instead of a life of justice, Pi never came to be. So, assumption here, if we just bat in, and this was A, right? Now if we replay this, will this change? Again, take a walk, real walk. Reports, resignation letter. Honorable Sergeant Zhong, you're a douche. Want to resign and save. Thank you, Funky, bye. Muddy shoe prints. I'll warm my hand. 1, 2, 3, 9. Just wait. Deal with the old fella. Feels like there was always a mix of different endings that were just slight variations of bad outcomes, and other endings that actually dish out interesting tidbits of plot. Like, we had no idea about Jigal Wanyum and Pi until this ending. Yeah, we have to... Come on. I have to go through this again. Oh, yep. Kim Jong-un been arrested. Had his help try to party with the lady. And we got it. A wonderful world. Yep. Just same CG, but no pie this time. That's a subtle touch. And really clever. Kang ideally delayed until it's almost daytime. Left Jigal sound asleep. Started repeating too. So he said to me, transfer request. What happens afterwards? Did write one. Has been duped. You look smaller and smaller. It's like an old man. Then Kang, I'll follow you till the end of days. Then Kang turned around off the distance and smiled. Whatever. I had to catch up with him, but I felt raindrops on my face. It kept getting heavier and heavier until I realized it was actually snowing. Snowing in June? Was something good going to happen? That day, I firmly believed that we would all have a great future together. But really, he immediately gave my clueless self a cruel wake-up call. Whoa, Jigal. Loaded. What? I jumped on his chest. Symbol, looking smiley face. But Pi didn't escape jail. Pi didn't escape jail. Well, that's kinda... Yeah, good. Unit 1 sucks. I want Busan, please, proceed. Looks like that's the end of our journey. Looks like that's the end. 100% complete your exploration in a truly wonderful world. There they are, the will cubes. The siblings. Remembering our journey. Oh, Sir Spotty. Oh, I didn't realize the subtle difference there. From the times when we stab him with a pen. Don't date students. Even if they turn 18, that's still bad. Sad Jimmy noises. Jimmy meets pie. Yeah, we're not even touching that. I remember when that was from. Yeah, we're not even touching that. That's... Nope. Nope. Nope, I got out of there. We may as well save. Yeah, I was... curious to see if anything would change in the title screen once we 100%ed. Good ending event. Actual good end. Post-credits. Sweet Dreams World. A bad end. Oh. It's been a long journey. I'd say in lieu of running down every single thing that happened, because there's a lot that happened, a lot of character arcs, a lot of intertwined character paths, a lot that was, I thought, done really well, a lot that I thought had good promise, but wasn't done so well. Like Li Wen and Wen Xiaoren's story, which was almost perfect as is, with the critical exception of it ending with romance. Everything, even with... even just keep everything exactly as is, just with, could even let Li Wen be confused about, am I in love with this man, or does he just remind me of my father, who I had this tragic parting with? That feels like a teenage confusion. Something that's not out of the ordinary, something that can be gotten over and grown out of without actually dating your teacher. And from his perspective, there's even keep him the same too, just instead of I'm in love with her, it's she reminds me of my wife. She could pass for my daughter. He reminds her of her father. She reminds him of his wife. Could pass for a daughter. That's tailor-made for a family resolution right there. Tailor-made. Like, that's the ideal ending there. She finally resolves her unresolved grief toward her father. He finally resolves his unresolved grief toward his wife. They live on. He opens an exhibition. Li Wen goes to college. Maybe even continues on playing tennis. Miss Yang can't even, be fair, loop her into the story. Miss Yang and Wen Xiaoren are Li Wen's new parents. That's it. That's the truly wonderful outcome of that story. Jimmy is Jimmy. That's really it. The big question mark is how Park Sang-gun / Jack / Pi was handled through this whole thing. The perspective that there was never really any real recovery for the kid. He just kinda had a few doses of hypnosis, and then all of a sudden he's going to be a serial killer now, who is not well. It's just the implications of a traumatized abuse victim with other diagnosable mental illnesses, however legitimate or not that the mental illness described in this game actually is. The implication of a traumatized, abused child with mental illness growing up to become a serial killer is really not ideal. That point could have been handled a lot better, although, unlike the Li Wen and Wen Zharen issue, I don't really have an answer as far as how to do it properly, based on how widespread the serial killer pie becomes. And really, he's in Jimmy's story. He makes a cameo appearance in Kang Baekya's story. He makes a cameo appearance in Chang Gyung-min's story. He is a key player, childhood and adult, in Spotty's story. Even the final ending, which was the Spotty's true ending, before we get the true end of the game, kinda left me with some hope that maybe he was done. Maybe that was it. But nope, then he just shows up and kills Jiggle Wan-yum. For reasons? ? Reasons? Uncertain. I doubt that the man had stayed morally on the up and up since joining the Korean gangs, the Bungmoon gang, but goddamn, Pai, why? Why did he have to do this? Why are you still killing people? That's just... I don't know a better way to fill Pai's role in the story. I don't have the answer right now. Welcome to your thoughts on the matter. That covers Pai and Park Sang-gun. We have Carlos and Alicia. Dear God. They probably have the... If Li Wen and Wen Zharen had been done properly, that probably would have topped them, but... In terms of character arcs, I think Carlos and Alicia have to be on top. It's the little tidbits that they added on later on. Just how their paths intertwined across 9 years and eventually wound up crossing just barely. That's a good bit of writing. That was well done. It hurts because they just barely cross paths and don't get that reunion, but I think that was incredibly well done. How Alicia went to Hong Kong and saw the absolute worst of humanity and the absolute worst of the world. The pharmaceutical testing horror pit. Don't even get me started on that human circus shit that I accidentally unlocked by trying to get all the endings. I messed up big time there. I want to forget that ever happened. There's, what was I trying to say? Yeah, that, Black Dragon Gang, assassin training, taking countless lives. Obviously Alicia and Carlos deeply religious. And I think there was one point before, right at the start of Alicia's time skip, where she abandons her rosary in favor of the necklace that Ray got her. I think. Am I kidding? We can just load up and see for ourselves. Oh, necklace with a cross on it. Put in it, and she mailed her necklace with a cross on it to her brother. At that point, she had finally been giving up on adhering to her religion. She knew she had crossed that line at this point, and there wasn't really any going back. While Carlos's whole arc was about navigating the same world that Alicia had 9 years earlier. Except without falling into that sin, with being able to maintain his good-natured innocence. We've seen from running through his bad endings, accidentally killing someone, he feels the weight of the sins crawling on his back and turns himself in. Messing up in a gang task, he loses a finger, and will never be the same. So Carlos has to navigate that exact same world that Alicia did 9 years ago. Albeit Carlos never dives into the worst of it, the deep inner workings of the gangs, assassinations, the awful human torture shit. Even the friggin' auction house, Well, Jack wasn't able to, or didn't even try to save Alicia from the auction house. Carlos, and his good heart, went in and saved a girl that he hardly knew from the auction house just because of the stories he heard about fucking human circus and all the other nasty shit that happens to people who end up at the auction house. Carlos saved her life. And Carlos had to navigate jail, had to navigate pie, because of course he did. And the worst possible reunion, he witnesses how far his sister has fallen. Just literally throwing someone off the dam, killing them, and he's frozen. And then she dies right in front of him. The end of his innocence there. Alternatively, they just miss each other. And they continue down their paths. Perhaps in an infinite loop. Drawing closer and closer at points, but never exactly meeting. God, I wish they could just go back home, though. Live in peace. Get the happy ending. Top character arc. That tidbit in Alicia's memory of being awake when their parent hiding when their parents were being gunned down. Carlos was still asleep. That really... I feel like that right there just kind of parallels their whole story arc. That's just... Spotty is Spotty. The cat living in a human's world. There's a lot of interactions with humans. Doesn't really have that much impact on Park, other than that brief interaction with the young Park is what leads Pi to take him home with them. Congratulations, Spotty. Your best ending is living with a serial killer. Yeah. There's gonna be another point I'm gonna load into. Just... what was different between these two? She didn't notice the metal box. She left. We didn't really know each other. Probably wouldn't survive. Snow began to fall. Assume the difference in this case was that Pi survived and claimed the will boxes. And that's really about... Spotty was key just for kinda bearing witness to the will cubes falling into a better pair of hands. A pair of hands who doesn't want to use it to destroy the world. Who knows? But it was that change that getting Spotty to a home, albeit the home of a serial killer, that finally changed events in the far-off future. That's really about it for Spotty's story. I have some quips with that being the trigger that finally motivates the will cubes to timely will 1 to time leap to the past. Namely, what happens if the serial killer gets caught again? Unless I'm mistaken, in the Jagal Wanyum incident happened before the Spotty incident, in which case that's a bit more acceptable. I feel like the cubes are most secure if Pi decides to settle down after that. Keep his head down and not go to jail. So if you just think about it, if Pi goes to jail, cubes end up in whatever custody and they're right back in danger again. Unless the cube managed to fuck off out of there. but they're in... Me being pessimistic. That being in the hands of a serial killer might not be the best deal. Unless the serial killer just doesn't pay him much mind. Oh well, let's not gripe too much. I'll save my other gripe about the true ending plot for a bit later. But Chang Geun-min and Kang Baek-ya, arguably number 2 in terms of character arcs. In terms of pairs, our big ones, Carlos and Alicia obviously intertwined. Kang Baek-ya and Chang Geun-min intertwined. Subordinate and boss. Li Wen and Wen Jiaren intertwined. And you could argue that Park Sang-gun / Pai and Spotty are also intertwined, so our 4th intertwined arc. Which is alright. In terms of ranking them, Carlos and Alicia number 1, Chang Geun-min and Kang Baek-ya 2, although some of the things that happen in Kang Baek-ya's route, the dissociative identity issues being painted as something out of fucking Fight Club, is a bad look for that. That's just bad. That's someone with alters just aren't going to transform into violent murderers at the drop of a hat. That's not... No, that's not how that works. This isn't an M. Night Shyamalan movie here. That's just exaggerated for dramatic effect. Sure. It made for some interesting moments, but it's just, as a look on the perception of dissociative identity, it's bad. Also bad was the thing that I can't forget is the talking about the office, the guard in the secret prison. Who was torturing prisoners and obviously had I don't even want to talk about that. That just wasn't cool. That's not a good perception of that. Yeah, but otherwise, I wasn't expecting the connection to be so intimate with them. For starters, the whole childhood incident with Kang Baek-ya really being so similar entering the police force. The whole "this is my justice" bit connecting them, which I think we were told early on that he was more idealistic when he came into the police force. We were told hints of what happened with Unit 2, and that obviously changed him. You were told that he kinda wasn't the biggest fan of Geun-min because of that same attitude, and Geun-min trying desperately to do a justice. Again, their route took a while to get going, but once the plot got going there, that was really interesting connected plot. That was more, instead of the separate timelines converging of Carlos and Alicia, that was more a plot running concurrently between two different people. In terms of mysteries and police procedural dramas. That was legitimately interesting. And yeah, I will admit I did not see the connection there. I did not see that connection coming. With first off, it was cute to see young Kang getting his justice from saving someone from a burning building, and then finding out later on. I assumed that reveal was meant to happen in the opposite order, since the Young Min side of that story came out earlier in the timeline, and Kang Baekya's side of that story came out in the fuck off, C-Cleaner. Came out in the his ending. That was a neat little connection. It was also neat how they worked in, I assume, what are just post-game letters. Post-game alternate routes. With the whole archive deal. Again, I say post-game, but it might have been available once we got the Willie's ending switching powers. Where Kang Baekya's story can still play out 100% without Gungmin in it. That was also an interesting touch. Completely different set of endings. That'd be something you'd have to sit down and read through the whole bunch of letters just to see how that might have changed. Obviously, Minjun would have had to fake his death in that outcome. And assumedly, either Minjun wasn't really being blackmailed, or there's one more thing to look up. God, we're at 1:30. One more thing to look up. I want to look up the conversation here. Yep. Ah, Minjun had the rest of the evidence for C0795. So, assumedly, in the non-Changyung Min path, Minjun turned in that evidence at the end of the day to take down Lieutenant Kim. Nice. And lastly, Hotaru's role in the story was small, but it was a nice touch. It's a shame that nothing really came of it after he left, considering he was looking for Alicia and so was Carlos. I was kind of having a feeling that the final connected letters with Carlos and Alicia were going to involve him somehow. Be curious to know what he got up to after getting out of jail, but I don't know. I wished for more there. Wished for more with the Miss Yang. Just because she deserved to finally get some resolution with her childhood friend. Wished for more Rocky too, because why not? We need more Rocky, we need more Ball. I'd say Rocky is your typical high school jock, but he did kinda post those photos of Li Wen on the school site, which is kind of a bad look. Then again, Jimmy also took those photos, which is also a bad look. So, yeah. That's it then. My only remaining question is the true ending path. I thought that we were going to have something to do with the conference where they were showing off the omnidirectional probability generators with the two quote-unquote telepathy demonstrations, which, the thing that stood out to me, that's really weird that the public just lapped that up. That reporters of all things would just lap that up. That was really weird. That seems a bit too... like, I don't think that would actually happen. Think of the Steins Gate perspective, with Dr. Nakabachi being the crackpot theorist that he is. And again, Dr. Nakabachi wasn't able to actually demonstrate anything. But then again, unless there was like enough standards at the conference that there was no denying to anyone in attendance that something out of the ordinary had happened, I'd expect people to, instead of universally take all of the Nobel Prizes, I'd expect them to be like more, yeah, that's kind of staged. It's, you believe that we've invented super timeline changers? Rintaro Okabe wants to know your location. CERN wants to know your location. No, just take all of the Nobel Prizes. There you go. Yeah, besides questioning how realistic that would be, my other thought was that the good ending was going to involve going back to that conference and kinda invalidating it. Because assumedly the Wangs, the doctors in this case, researchers in this case, created the cubes. Assumedly, they created the cubes with the personalities of their kids, used the cubes to save their kids, and then decided, that's it, they're going under wraps now. We're done with them. Not being able to destroy them because of causing a paradox, because their kids still lived full lives. Which is why I thought that the thing that led to them being popularized was the demonstration. So I thought that if the demonstration had gone badly, maybe that would have killed the interested project. They wouldn't have had to deny all of the Nobel Prizes. All of them. And then maybe the world might not have been led to destruction over the cubes. But man, it's... The evidence was there the longest time. Odd bits of snow that were popping up, the earthquake. With undetected earthquake. Unexpected earthquake. Odds out-of-season snow popping up. Alicia stealing the boxes, the cubes from the penthouse. The cubes are going around places this whole time. And it wasn't until we finally managed to change something that we realized it. So that's it for Will. I'm going to end it here. I think the fact that I spent 3 hours seeing everything that was left to see in this game, showing everything that was left to show in this game, and the fact that I spent, it has to be by now, a half hour talking about everything that we saw throughout this playthrough. I think that says everything as far as just what my thoughts are on this game. It's great. There's some questionable content, but overall it's really great. The way things tie together in terms of causality from a gameplay perspective. I'm gonna stop now, or else I'm gonna keep talking for another 20 minutes. This has been long enough already. I said this at the end of the good ending, but I do hope that you find your wonderful world.